741. The soul is tempered, and the body is indestructible. The corpse master takes over the body, leaving a backup plan. Besides diligence, you also have several advantages. Firstly, your comprehension ability. This goes without saying. Secondly, primordial qi. As the core of the Tao of primordial beginning, and the Tao of primordial beginning being the general outline of all innate great Taos, primordial qi is inherently meant to break rules. Thirdly, you are not sacrificial Tao, but rather created your own life and death realm. The heavenly Tao restraints you face are much smaller than those faced by cultivators who walk the sacrificial Tao path. Moreover, the life and death realm itself has the characteristic of an undying physical body, giving you much room for trial and error. Fourthly, your no-leakage golden body. This is a characteristic of the other shore, which will make your physical body more easily break its limits. Additionally, you have a powerful divine soul and mental power, allowing you to achieve subtle control. With so many advantages, you can completely attempt physical body nirvana. You entered the 10,000 Laws Pavilion and copied all cultivation techniques related to physical body cultivation. Then you began to deduce a cultivation technique specifically for yourself, one that would break the limits of the heavenly Tao. Time flew by, and 20 years passed in a blink of an eye. You finally combined the Nirvana Soul Fire Sutra with various physical body cultivation techniques to create an unprecedented method. This method differs from the Nirvana Soul Fire Sutra. It does not require the physical body to undergo nirvana. Instead, it uses mental power to construct tribulations and temper the physical body. Each time a tribulation is overcome, the physical body will strengthen a little. Why not use nirvana, but this form instead? Because during this process, you discovered that due to the resistance of the heavenly Tao, the risk of physical body nirvana was too great, far higher than divine soul nirvana. Instead of that, it is better to use your most proficient mental power to strengthen the physical body. This can also be considered bringing your strengths to the extreme. Although the amplification of the physical body by each tribulation is not as great as nirvana, but it can accumulate little by little. As long as you undergo 10,000 kalpas, your physical body will definitely not be weaker than an ordinary dominator. Therefore, you named this cultivation technique the 10,000 kalpas undying body. After the cultivation technique was perfected, you began to temper your physical body using mental power. You could basically make your physical body undergo one tribulation per day. This rate of enhancement was not much slower than the divine soul nirvana of the past. It was even faster. 3 years passed in a flash, and your physical body underwent over 1,000 tribulations, successfully reaching the 1,000 kalpas realm. You cultivated the 1,000 kalpas undying body. Your current physical body is dozens of times stronger than before cultivating the 10,000 kalpas undying body. Of course, there is one similarity with the Nirvana Soul Fire Sutra, and that is the 10,000 kalpas undying body also has its own characteristics. This characteristic is tribulation chi. This tribulation chi is accumulated through countless tribulations. Although it is only the 1,000 kalpas realm now, it has the effect of interfering with and drawing down calamities upon most people below the dominator. If one experiences 10,000 kalpas, the terror of the tribulation chi will threaten even ordinary dominators. Afterward, you continued to cultivate. As your physical body grew, the difficulty of the tribulations also had to increase significantly to temper the physical body. Each tribulation took more time, about twice as long as before. This was equivalent to one tribulation every 2 days. 6 years passed like this. Your physical body had undergone 2,000 tribulations. The strength of your physical body reached over 100 times its original strength. You already had the no-leakage golden body. And now it has been strengthened so much more. With just your physical body, you could almost be unrivaled below the dominator. As you were about to continue cultivating, a sudden warning arose in your heart, and a vast consciousness enveloped you. This consciousness was cold, evil, and powerful, seemingly wanting to invade your divine soul and dominate your physical body. This is possession. You are in the Black-White Academy, which should be extremely safe. Why did such a thing happen? Could it be that Yin-Yang Corp's sovereign? You snorted coldly, and a sweep of holy light from your mind immediately repelled this consciousness. How dare you be so presumptuous? This consciousness still wanted to continue invading, when suddenly another powerful force erupted, repelling it. The person who arrived was none other than the Black-White Palace Master. After repelling this consciousness, the Black-White Palace Master asked with concern, "Are you all right?" You shook your head and asked in confusion, I wonder what the origin of this thought is. The Black-White Palace Master sighed and said that this was indeed his former master, the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign. You already knew about the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign from the Nine Bends Pavilion, but you still feigned surprise. The Black-White Palace Master was very satisfied with your expression and slowly revealed the secret of that year. The secret he spoke of was almost identical to what you learned in the Nine Bends Pavilion, and even more comprehensive. For example, why the master and disciple turned against each other back then. According to the Black-White Palace Master, the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign established the Yin-Yang Academy with ill intentions, wanting to use the excellent disciples he selected to refine clones for himself. So, a few of them took advantage of the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign being at a critical moment in his closed-door cultivation, ambushed him, destroyed his physical body, and exiled his divine soul to the past and future. So many years have passed, and the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign has probably already revived. The reason he tried to possess you is likely to seek revenge on the Black-White Academy. The Black-White Palace Master's words were well reasoned and left no room for doubt. Could it be that you were truly overthinking things? Is there no direct connection between the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign and the Black-White Academy? If that were truly the case, it would undoubtedly be good news for you. You could use the power of the Black-White Academy to resist the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign, an existence close to the Ancient Ones. Seeing that you seemed to believe his words, the Black-White Palace Master returned to the main peak. When he arrived at his residence, a mass of black chi appeared out of thin air. The black chi formed a stiff human face. The human face said to the Black-White Palace Master, "Not bad, I am very satisfied with this young man. 100 years from now, I will go all out to possess him." The Black-White Palace Master frowned and said, "His mental power is very strong, no weaker than an Ancient One's. Do you really have the confidence to possess him? Don't mess it up then and ruin the reputation of my academy." The human face laughed eerily and said that it would indeed be difficult to possess your divine soul. But he could completely use his life-bound treasure to seal your divine soul. First, take your physical body, then slowly devour your divine soul. After speaking, the human face once again turned into black chi and disappeared. The Black-White Palace Master, however, murmured, "This is the last time I will help you. From now on, our karma is clear." On the other side, after the Black-White Palace Master left, you secretly sent a Tao body to the Celestial Tin Holy Court. You are suspicious and do not fully trust the Black-White Palace Master. You need to keep a backup plan for yourself. The Tianqi Saint Lord's attitude towards your arrival was somewhat cold. You said that you had thought it through and planned to help him build the dragon veins. The Tianqi Saint Lord immediately smiled and said that he knew he hadn't misjudged you. 742. Not giving a penny, the Academy is in turmoil. The eternal body, the mysterious Hongmeng. You naturally have your own conditions. You said your true body is currently busy undergoing tribulation of karma, and can only help him after this tribulation passes. Tianqi Saint Lord laughed and said, "You little brat are looking for me to help you undergoing tribulation, aren't you? You said that was not the case, it was just a precaution. If there was a real need, you hoped he could lend a hand." Tianqi Saint Lord readily agreed, "No problem. It was clear he truly valued this dragon vein. And you, naturally, were not deceiving him. You always kept your word. As long as you passed the karma tribulation, regardless of whether he contributed to the process, you would help him. Anyway, by then, your 10,000 kalpas undying body would have reached major achievement, and your strength would not be weaker than an ordinary beyond, so even if you offended some other dimension forces because of this matter, you wouldn't need to worry too much." Time flew, and another 16 years passed in a flash. The tribulations your physical body had endured reached 5,000 kalpas. You could withstand several blows from an ordinary beyond with just your physical body's strength, which was quite astonishing. Because Kalpa Light Tao Ancestor had recently accepted a personal disciple, your true body specifically came out of seclusion to congratulate him. Kalpa Light Tao Ancestor had not allowed you into the secret courtyard back then, but you were a magnanimous person and did not dwell on the matter. On the contrary, your Tao body, which you used for socializing over the years, often interacted with him, deliberately fostering a good relationship. This was because among the 5 beyond of Black-White Academy, he was the only one who joined later and was not a disciple of Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign. You felt he could be trusted, so you deliberately befriended him. Kalpa Light Tao Ancestor greatly admired a prodigy like you and never treated you coldly. The two of you seem to be developing a trend towards becoming close friends despite the age difference. If you could befriend such an old brother, you would naturally be very willing. At the apprenticeship banquet, you even specially gave his disciple 100,000 holy light crystals. Others looked at you with some surprise. For a Beyond's disciple, this amount of holy light crystals was not much. But you, the young palace lord, were notoriously stingy, not even willing to part with a single hair. Only others gave you gifts. You were almost never seen giving gifts to others. For you to take out 100,000 holy light crystals today, had the sun risen from the west. To be honest, being stingy was true. But it wasn't intentional on your part, you were forced into it. You needed a large amount of materials to convert into primordial chi. Therefore, no matter how many materials you had, it was never enough for you. Moreover, many treasures Taoist was extremely wary of you. It was almost impossible for you to send your Tao body into Treasure Peak to earn money as before. You could only let a few Tao body occasionally go out to rob the rich and help the poor to barely maintain a semblance of life. With high expenses, but fewer channels for income, shouldn't you be a bit more economical? Afterward, your true body continued to cultivate the 10,000 kalpas undying body in seclusion. After the endured tribulations reached 5,000 kalpas, the difficulty of cultivate further increased. It now took 3 to 4 days to achieve the effect of 1 kalpa previously. 20 years later, your 10,000 kalpas undying body reached over 7,000 kalpas. At this time, the 2 Tao body you had infiltrated into Heavenly God Academy suddenly sent back news. The high-ranking members of Heavenly God Academy were secretly plotting to find the Taichu Divine Tablet. As for the reason, it was still unclear. This day had finally arrived. You had already prepared a countermeasure. Not long after, Heavenly God Academy sent 2 disciples to Taichu realm. These 2 were quickly controlled by your Tao body. Now, you were just buying time. The longer the time, the more advantageous it was for you. Nearly 30 more years passed. You were only 1 last kalpa away from completing 10,000 kalpas perfection. To be cautious, you did not place this final breakthrough in Black-White Academy, but instead went to Celestial Tin Holy Court. You even specifically asked Tianxi Saint Lord to conceal your movements. Subsequently, you completed the final breakthrough at the headquarters of Celestial Tin Holy Court. When 10,000 kalpas perfection was achieved, your physical body underwent a strange transformation, constantly shedding dead skin and regenerating new flesh and bones. When the complete transformation was finished, every inch of your physical body possessed powerful strength, and an aura of immortality flowed through it. It looked extraordinary at a glance. You successfully cultivate the beyond characteristic of an undying physical body. An anomaly surged between heaven and earth, but it was concealed by Tianxi Saint Lord. Tianxi Saint Lord looked at you and praised, "You are the most talented person I have ever seen. Fortunately, you little brat are human race and not other dimension, otherwise I would definitely not be able to resist strangling you in advance." You laughed heartily and said, "Can you still strangle me now?" You invited Tianxi Saint Lord to a battle in the other dimension. Tianxi Saint Lord looked at the battle intent in your eyes and agreed to your request. The 2 of you fought for hundreds of moves before you were defeated. Tianxi Saint Lord's strength was similar to Black-White Palace Masters. Among ordinary Beyond, he was also a seasoned powerhouse, capable of fighting 3 to 5 newly promoted Beyond by himself. That you could fight him for so long before being defeated was enough to show your extraordinary nature. Moreover, during this process, you never used holy light, relying entirely on your own strength, which was even more commendable. Tianxi Saint Lord also directly called you a prodigy. If you had used holy light, Tianxi Saint Lord would have found it difficult to defeat you. Of course, this was not your full strength yet, because you still had 2 primordial spirit treasure that you hadn't used. One was the Yuan Magic Soul Devouring Banner, and the other was the Yuan Demon Blade. Now that your strength had greatly increased, you could further enhance the power of the Yuan Magic Soul Devouring Banner. As for the Yuan Demon Blade, you could already try to refine it. Its owner had not yet revived, so you could forcibly suppress its spirit treasure and unleash part of the Yuan Demon Blade's divine might. However, both of these were demonic weapons. It would be best to tailor a handy primordial spirit treasure for yourself. What had accompanied you all along was the Hongmeng Dao Palace. You had already asked the Heavenly Craftsman Peak Master of Black-White Academy, for Hongmeng Dao Palace to advance, it required some extremely rare materials. You couldn't find all of them now. Even if all the materials were found, forging a primordial spirit treasure would take at least hundreds of millions of years. It could be said that the conditions for the birth of a primordial spirit treasure were extremely demanding. Many newly promoted beyond did not have suitable weapons, still using Vault of Heaven treasure. Oh, right, Hongmengdao Palace has the ability to devour. It had never devoured a primordial spirit treasure before, why not let it try? You once suppressed the spirit treasure of the Yuan Magic Palace, wanting to let the Hongmengdao Palace try. The golden figure was quite speechless, saying that it really couldn't be done. Primordial spirit treasure were almost the most powerful divine weapons in the world. If it could devour, would it have been dismembered and sealed in the Sin blood plane back then? You asked why it could devour Vault of Heaven treasure then. The golden figure was speechless. After a long time, it said that it didn't know either, and if you had the ability, you should go ask Hongmeng Immortal King. Hongmeng Immortal King, you had already searched his soul when you were in the lower domain. He had accidentally obtained the Hongmengdao Palace, which was why he changed his name to Hongmeng Immortal King. As for the origin of the Hongmengdao Palace, he was also unclear. 743. 8 Desolate Divine Dynasty, brothers of different surnames. The transaction between gods, the secret that is not passed on. After the competition, you and Tianxi Saint Lord got drunk together. After drinking, he suddenly asked you if you knew why he wanted to build this dragon vein. You said you didn't know. He then asked you if you knew about the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty. You said, of course, you did. The Transcendent Saint realm is vast and boundless, but only 365 saint states have been opened up that are suitable for living beings. Beyond that, there are barren and terrifying outer regions. The 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, by itself, occupied more than 50 saint states. It is one of the most powerful forces in the Transcendent Saint realm. You had naturally heard of it long ago. You asked curiously, could it be that this dragon vein is related to the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty? Tianxi Saint Lord said that was correct. It was precisely because the pressure from the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty was too great that he wanted to build the dragon vein. This dragon vein was also built by him using a special secret method. Once completed, it would greatly enhance his strength. Although it wouldn't allow him to contend with the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, it could help him protect himself and secure a place for the human race. You asked, does this 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty harbor enmity towards the human race? He said that wasn't the case, but the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty was an alliance formed by 8 powerful alien races, so even if they didn't hate the human race's days wouldn't be easy. The human race still needed its own territory. You said, having Tianxi Saint Lord is truly a great fortune for the human race. Tianxi Saint Lord laughed heartily, as if he had met a true confidant. You seized the opportunity and said, with such a beautiful moment, why don't we become sworn brothers? Tianxi Saint Lord's laughter paused, he pondered for a moment, then readily agreed. Your potential was obvious to all, becoming a Bayan in the future was almost a certainty. Moreover, you also had the Black-White Academy, a behemoth, backing you. Becoming sworn brothers with you was no loss for him at all. You paid homage to the heavenly Tao, swore a blood oath, and became sworn brothers. And on the second day's court assembly, Tianxi Saint Lord also announced your identity to all civil and military officials, causing widespread shock. Tianxi Saint Lord also said that from now on, you would be the Celestial Tin Holy Court's second Saint Lord, and if he were not present, the Celestial Tin Holy Court would be decided by you. At this, the civil and military officials and imperial family disciples completely lost their composure, asking the Saint Lord to reconsider. You were also a bit surprised. You only wanted to become sworn brothers to add another layer of connection, you didn't expect Tianxi Saint Lord to be serious. Tianxi Saint Lord waved his hand, saying his decision was made. He did this, on one hand, to win over people's hearts, and on the other hand, he didn't believe anything would happen to him. Therefore, the power he promised you was merely an empty promise. After leaving the Celestial Tin Holy Court, the Black-White Palace Master found you and asked why you didn't consult him about becoming sworn brothers with Tianxi Saint Lord. You said that doing so also had your own difficulties. You wanted to use this method to draw closer, to persuade Tianxi Saint Lord to abandon persecuting other races, you were thinking of the citizens of all races. The Black-White Palace Master then nodded slightly, saying that among the Black-White Academy's students, the human race only accounted for a small portion, and as the young Palace Lord, you must be impartial to win people's hearts. You firmly stated that you would do it. After the Black-White Palace Master left, you entered the Heart Demon realm and massively refined Heart Demons using the Yuan Magic Soul-Devouring Banner. You primarily targeted the hostile forces of the Heart Demon army. This refinement lasted for more than 10 years. It only ended when 5 or 6 Bian Shinma were alarmed and jointly drove you away. And the power of the Yuan Magic Soul-Devouring Banner had increased by at least 30%, which was terrifying. The evil thoughts within the banner were very satisfied with your actions. They basically wouldn't go against your will. You could unleash 90% of its power. The Yuan Demon Blade, however, remained unruly. You threw it into the soul-devouring banner, letting the evil thoughts slowly process it. On the other side, the Heavenly God Academy discovered the trickery in the Taichu realm and began to target your lower realm Tao body. Seeing that it had come to this, you no longer hid, but directly revealed your identity. Upon hearing your identity, that you were actually the young palace lord of the Black-White Academy, the Heavenly God Academy was greatly shocked. After verifying it was true, the Heavenly God Academy dared not act aggressively, but instead sought a transaction. You said that the content on the Taichu Divine Tablet could be traded, but the Heavenly God Academy must show sincerity. The 3 Bian of the Heavenly God Academy discussed for a while and finally produced the Academy's secret art, the Divine Descent art. The elders and disciples of the Academy basically cultivate the method of inviting gods to possess their bodies, which allows them to obtain part of the power of powerful existences from past time and space. And this Divine Descent art, however, summons the true body of a powerful living being. As for who exactly can be invited, that depends on karma and fortune. You were facing the threat of Yin-Yang Corp's sovereign and were very interested in this art. You asked the Heavenly God Academy to add another 10 billion saint crystals, and the transaction could be completed. The Heavenly God Academy head gritted his teeth and agreed. Thus, under the witness of the Heavenly Tao, you completed the transaction. Of course, you didn't hand over the Taichu Divine Tablet, but rather inscribed the cultivation content of the Tao of Primordial Beginning for the Heavenly God Academy. This was also the first half of the content you obtained in the Taichu realm. The Heavenly God Academy has 3 Bian. If this karma could be resolved through a transaction, it would naturally be for the best. Otherwise, it would be much more troublesome. Afterward, you began to cultivate the Divine Descent art. But not long after, the Heavenly God Academy head personally came to your door, wanting to borrow the Taichu Divine Tablet. Because the Tao of Primordial Beginning is too obscure. It's difficult to cultivate just from the text content. However, the Taichu Divine Tablet not only has text content but also the Primordial Beginning Chi left by the Primordial Beginning Taoist, which can evolve the Tao of Primordial Beginning, making cultivation much easier. Of course, the Heavenly God Academy wouldn't borrow it for free, they would give you 100 million saint crystals per year. This showed considerable sincerity, but you shook your head, saying that the item had already been lent to your good brother, Tianxi Saint Lord, and you couldn't get it. You also had your Tao body inform Tianxi Saint Lord, saying that the Heavenly God Academy wanted to borrow something from you, but you didn't want to lend it, so you used him as a shield this one time. Tianxi Saint Lord had already offended many alien race forces. He didn't care about offending one more alien race force. He was very willing to help you with this favor. Anyway, it was just a small effort, right? No big deal. You also lamented that you had truly chosen the right brother in Tianxi Saint Lord. Meanwhile, the Heavenly God Academy head's expression flickered between cloudy and clear, and he turned and left. You estimated that he could only swallow this bitter pill. Surely, he wouldn't attack Tianxi Saint Lord just for the Taichu Divine Tablet, would he? You continued to cultivate the Divine Descent art. Although this Divine Descent art was just a summoning technique, it was indeed quite difficult. In fact, with your terrifying comprehension ability, it still took you 3 full years to achieve major achievement. However, even though you had mastered it, you dared not try it rashly. Because inviting powerful existences to act would create immense karma. 744. Tianxi is missing, the new Holy Lord. The Corpse Lord has become the supreme karma. This karma also needs to be repaid. Therefore, the Divine Descent art can only be used as a trump card. After nearly 20 years, the demonic nature of the Yuan Demon Blade was finally suppressed by the soul-devouring banner, allowing you to use it initially and unleash at least 60% of its power. However, there is still no clue on how to rapidly advance the Hongmeng Dao Palace. 1 year later, while your main body was lecturing students at the Black-White Academy, you suddenly heard devastating news. The Tianxi Saint Lord was besieged by several unknown other shores and his whereabouts are unknown. The celestial Tin Holy Court is now leaderless and in chaos. As the second Saint Lord of the Holy Court, you naturally cannot stand by and do nothing. With a heavy heart, you went to the celestial Tin Holy Court, preparing to take over the forces. Your attempt to take over the Holy Court's control naturally met with fierce resistance from the Tianxi imperial family and related interest groups. You were furious. Your elder brother's life and death are unknown, yet these people are still vying for power and profit, they are worse than beasts. You raised your butcher's knife and carried out a great purge of the celestial Tin Holy Court. The royalists among the civil and military officials suffered heavy casualties. Even several princes died. Now, no one could stop you from seizing great power. You sat on the dragon throne and said solemnly to the civil and military officials, "The reason I sit in this position is not for power, but to preserve my elder brother's unparalleled foundation. When my elder brother returns, I will certainly return power to him." The civil and military officials kowtowed, all praising your righteousness as boundless and a model for all people. This made you feel a bit embarrassed. Sometimes, the truth is like that, it makes people uncomfortable. After you took over the celestial Tin Holy Court, many strong individuals from other races came to you, hoping you could give them a place to live and not drive them away like the Tianxi Saint Lord. You waved your hand and agreed to all their requests. You said that the biggest difference between you and your elder brother is your broad mind and impartial treatment. You would never treat them differently on the land of Tianxi Holy State just because they are of other races. For a time, the other races lamented that they had finally met a wise ruler. After pacifying the other races, you immediately checked the dragon vein. The dragon vein, in the hands of the Tianxi Saint Lord, had already taken initial shape. As long as you cleanse the evil qi within it, it will be completely activated, adding to your strength. However, a strong individual from another race suggested that the dragon vein is the source of evil and should be immediately destroyed. You frowned in displeasure, thinking, "Are these other races taking advantage of my kindness and getting carried away?" But you still needed to put on a show, sincerely unite the other races and stabilize your rule. So you said with concern, "This is my elder brother's foundation. If it is destroyed, I will have no good explanation when he returns." Therefore, you decided to temporarily halt the dragon vein construction but not destroy it. The strong individuals of other races expressed their approval. Under your rule in the celestial Tin Holy Court, conflicts and friction between the various races gradually decreased, presenting a vibrant and flourishing state where all things competed. But at this moment, an unexpected event suddenly occurred. On this day, you had just concluded the court session. The void realm before you suddenly split open, forming a black and white, dim gate. This gate was in a deeper space, invisible to ordinary people. But it could truly affect you. The gate opened, and a terrifying suction force came from within, seemingly wanting to pull your divine soul into it. Inside the gate, ghosts wailed and wolves howled, creating an eerie and terrifying atmosphere. You felt that once you entered, you would probably be doomed forever. In a split second, you didn't care about anything else and directly cast the divine descent art. A karma extended from you and entered an unknown time and space. Soon, it involved several powerful existences. Some were astonished, some were deducing, but before they could react, an auspicious cloud flew out and rapidly approached your time and space. On the other side, your divine soul didn't resist for long before being sucked into the gate. A black shadow inside the gate laughed arrogantly, "Ha ha, Corpse Lord has succeeded." However, before he could gloat for long, an auspicious cloud flew out, shimmering with red, green, black, and white colors. This is, feeling the aura within it, he showed a look of fear. Then, the auspicious cloud exploded, turning everything inside the gate into nothingness. The black shadow screamed and disappeared along with the gate. And your divine soul returned to your physical body, regaining consciousness. You were filled with lingering fear. You didn't expect that with your current strength, you could still be suddenly ambushed. Moreover, the aura of the black shadow inside the gate was similar to the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign's consciousness you encountered last time. If your guess is correct, this was the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign attacking you again. You didn't understand why the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign kept bothering you. Fortunately, you had the divine descent art, otherwise, your life might have been in danger this time. Also, who was the existence who made a move this time? Why didn't he show his form? You looked at the empty void realm, feeling puzzled. According to the records of the divine descent art, After each time a powerful existence is invited to act, he will make a request as a reward for the transaction. If it cannot be completed, he will impose a punishment. But the person who acted this time didn't ask for anything, which gave you an even more ominous feeling. Because if a request were made, at least you would have some idea. Instead of constantly guessing like this, you return to your sleeping quarters to recover from the damage to your divine soul. Soon after you sat down cross-legged, your divine soul became hazy and uncontrollable, entering the past time and space, arriving at a palace with the two characters, Supreme, written on it. You sat cross-legged on a futon. Two young boys were kowtowing to you, calling you, Old Master. Then the scene dissipated, and your divine soul returned to your body. It was as if everything just now was merely a dream. But at your realm, you could clearly judge that it was not a dream, but an entry into past time and space. But what was the meaning of everything just now? Why did the two young boys call you, Supreme Old Master? Could it be that the one who helped you earlier was the Supreme Taoist Lord? And did he use this event to hint at the terms of the karma transaction? You hated these riddles the most. But to solve the mystery, you had to start deducing yourself. According to the information you had collected earlier, the Supreme Taoist Lord is one of the most ancient other shores. His timeline spans multiple great calamities. His strength is immeasurable. And at his realm, the next step up is the perfect other shore. The perfect other shore needs to occupy all timelines of the transcendent saint realm. To achieve this, it seems you can't help much, can you? So, what exactly does the Supreme Taoist Lord want you to do? Why did he make the young boys call you, Old Master? The Supreme Taoist Lord has been missing for a long time. It's impossible that you are his reincarnation of a separated soul, right? You felt that the matter was not that simple. 745. The owner of Juku Tower, do minus and seek emptiness. Tianxi falls, the dean threatens. At this moment, you thought of the Nine Bens Pavilion. Such an intelligence dealer should know many secrets. Perhaps there would be a harvest there. You had your Tao body disguise itself and go to the Nine Bens Pavilion to seek answers. Of course, your Tao body didn't mention the Supreme Taoist Lord, but rather spoke of other most ancient ones. However, the experiences were largely similar. The contact person at the Nine Bens Pavilion was puzzled and invited the Nine Serenities Tower Master out. This was your first time seeing the Nine Serenities Tower Master. Although she also wore a mask, she was full of heroic spirit. But from her graceful figure, it was clear she was a woman. And her aura was not weak, she was at least in the other shore realm. How strong she truly was, you didn't know. The Nine Serenities Tower Master smiled and said, the matter you inquire about is no small feat, worth at least 80 billion saint crystals. Your Tao body directly took out 5 top-tier Vault of Heaven treasures worth 80 billion saint crystals. Although 5 Vault of Heaven treasures could fetch that price, a considerable portion was due to their scarcity. The primordial chi extracted from them was not as much as 80 billion saint crystals. Therefore, you preferred to settle the payment with Vault of Heaven treasures. The Nine Serenities Tower Master didn't fuss and, after accepting them, she said, this concerns a secret about breaking through to quasi-transcendence. Even many in the other shore realm are not clear about this. You were startled. Isn't the Supreme Taoist Lord one of the most ancient ones? Could it be that he had already achieved the perfect other shore and was preparing to charge into the realm of quasi-transcendence? You continued to listen. The Nine Serenities Tower Master said, there are many ways to achieve quasi-transcendence, but the most common method is to do subtraction to seek emptiness. This means stripping oneself of all connections with the myriad realms, removing traces from the river of time, achieving a state of nothingness, and preparing for ultimate transcendence. This process usually requires a carrier to transfer karma. If what you said is true, the powerful individual you mentioned likely chose you to be this carrier. You hadn't expected such a secret. This didn't sound like a good thing. Instead, it seemed like you would become a pawn. You only had the Supreme Taoist Lord save you once. There's no need for him to completely exploit you, right? You voiced your concerns. The Nine Serenities Tower Master laughed, shaking with mirth. She said you were overthinking it, and that this was an opportunity many sought but couldn't obtain. Once you become the existence to which karma is transferred, you will gradually receive all of that powerful individual's divine power. Furthermore, that powerful individual will not easily let you die before completely finishing the karma transfer. In other words, you have a high probability of becoming a new perfect other shore. The only downside is that you will bear the karma of that powerful individual, which may bring unforeseen consequences. For instance, if he provoked powerful enemies, you would have to deal with them in the future, and it would have nothing to do with him. Hearing this, it seemed not bad after all. Did the Supreme Taoist Lord give you a great opportunity for free? You hoped he didn't leave you with a mess. You left the Nine Bends Pavilion with mixed feelings of joy and worry. Not long after your Tao body left the Nine Bends Pavilion, you discovered someone was tracking it. Therefore, your Tao body decisively self-destructed, leaving no trace. The Nine Serenities Tower Master emerged from the shadows and sneered, "Quite decisive, aren't they? However, this is a major matter involving the perfect other shore. Even if you hide in the Yellow Springs, the Nine Bends Pavilion will find a way to locate you." After receiving the news from the Nine Bends Pavilion, you felt much more at ease. It's just that this karma tribulation, you wonder when it will finally be overcome. Not long after, within the celestial Tin Holy Court, the statue of Tianxi Saint Lord in the headquarters plaza suddenly shattered. Many people were greatly alarmed, their expressions changing drastically. This statue contained a trace of Tianxi Saint Lord's divine power. The shattering of the statue, didn't it mean that Tianxi Saint Lord had died in the current timeline? Although those in the other shore realm could be resurrected and weren't truly dead. But that would be countless years later. The Tianxi imperial family was particularly grieved. They had previously thought of waiting for the Saint Lord to return to impeach you, but now it all seemed like a fantasy. Many neutral ministers now found it difficult to remain neutral. And as his good brother, seeing his demise, you were naturally extremely saddened. You got heavily drunk in your sleeping quarters. The next day, you held a symbolic funeral for him, inviting many people to attend. All the funeral contributions went into your pocket, the imperial family didn't get a single cent. Of course, this wasn't due to your greed. These things all belonged to Tianxi Saint Lord. As his brother, you were merely temporarily safeguarding them for him. Many leaders of other races were very happy, saying that with the death of Tianxi, the tyrant, they finally wouldn't have to live in fear and would forever be under your benevolent rule. You, however, told them not to speak carelessly, that although Tianxi Saint Lord was tyrannical, he was still your brother, and they should not speak of him that way in front of you. Everyone understood and quickly said, "Your humble servants understand." With Tianxi Saint Lord's death, his wife and daughters would naturally be supported by you. As for his sons and grandsons, as long as they didn't cause trouble, you couldn't be bothered to manage them, but if they did, they would be severely punished without leniency. After all, a good son comes from strict discipline, and you didn't want them to tarnish your brother Tianxi Saint Lord's reputation. Meanwhile, you were curious in your heart, who exactly killed Tianxi Saint Lord? How much hatred and enmity must there be to do such a thing? It was just that Tianxi Saint Lord had offended too many people in his daily life. Now, he died without even knowing why. If he had cultivated good relationships like you, he certainly wouldn't have met this end today. After the funeral concluded, the Black-White Palace Master privately approached you and told you that you must manage the Tianxi Holy State well, and that the Academy would be your strongest backing. However, as he spoke, the Black-White Palace Master kept scrutinizing you, as if trying to discern something. Damn it, could he be trying to see if you've been possessed? You increasingly found the Black-White Palace Master suspicious. But you remained outwardly calm and dealt with him. Not long after Tianxi Saint Lord's death, the Heavenly God Academy head suddenly found you, his gaze deep as he said, "The Taichu Divine Tablet should still be with you, right?" You naturally denied it vehemently. You said that the Taichu Divine Tablet should have fallen into the hands of the mastermind behind the scenes with Tianxi Saint Lord's death. You told him that if he had the ability, he should go find that mastermind. The Heavenly God Academy head snorted, "Tianxi Saint Lord died by my hand. Don't I know whether he had it on him or not?" You were greatly startled, not expecting the culprit to be right in front of you. Just for a Taichu Divine Tablet, the Heavenly God Academy had brutally murdered Tianxi Saint Lord. Was this Taichu Divine Tablet truly so important to the Heavenly God Academy? You were very puzzled. The Heavenly God Academy head said, "If you hand it over immediately, we can act as if nothing happened, otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless." 746. The catastrophe breaks out, Tai takes action. The sixth level of life and death, defeats Duobao. You killed my brother, and you still want me to submit? Dream on. You raged. You took out the Yuan magic soul-devouring banner and attacked the Heavenly God Academy head, instantly displaying unparalleled might. But soon, two more other shore powerhouses walked out. It seemed the Heavenly God Academy was fully prepared this time, with all their experts present. You crushed the life-saving jade pendant Saint Young Emperor had given you earlier. It contained a trace of his divine thought, and crushing it would make him arrive quickly. Besides Saint Young Emperor, you also had similar items given by the Black-White Palace Master and Kalpalite Dao Ancestor. You chose to crush them all. Then, you took out the Yuan Demon Blade and summoned 8 Dao bodies to resist together. The Dao bodies only possessed a fraction of your strength. Even so, the 8 of them combined were a force not to be underestimated. The Heavenly God Academy head hadn't expected you to be so troublesome. You had strength comparable to another shore even before reaching the other shore realm. With your Dao bodies, you were almost equivalent to 2 ordinary other shores. A quarter of an hour later, just as you were about to be overwhelmed, a large hole tore open in the void realm, and 5 powerful figures emerged in succession. The 5 other shores of the Black-White Academy had all arrived. You had continuously crushed 3 life-saving items, and the Black-White Palace Master realized the severity of the situation, so he also called many treasures Taoist and the Nether King of Eternal Night. The Black-White Palace Master snorted, "How dare your Heavenly God Academy act so presumptuously, actually daring to attack my Black-White Academy's young palace lord?" The Heavenly God Academy head's expression was a bit grim. Just as he was about to speak, devilish chi suddenly ran rampant in the void realm. 6 Bian Shinmo descended upon the world. Heart Demon Saint, 7 Desires Demon Emperor, and other familiar faces were among them. Heart Demon Saint laughed loudly, "This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You all continue your attack, and we will block the Black-White Academy's people for you." You hadn't expected this group of heart demons to cause trouble at such a crucial moment. Indeed, a demon is a demon, their desire to see you perish never dies. It was just that this time, several major forces had gathered together. Could it be that the great karma tribulation was erupting all at once? No matter what, this was an extremely dangerous time for you. The 5 powerhouses of the Black-White Academy were blocked, and among them, many treasures Taoist and the Nether King of Eternal Night were only going through the motions. For a while, there was no hope of breaking through the Heart Demon's defense line. You watched as your Dao bodies died one after another at the hands of the Heavenly God Academy's 3 other shores, and you sneered, "Very good, you forced my hand. Great summoning. No, divine descent art." In this critical moment, you once again used the divine descent art. This time, who knew which powerhouse would be summoned? In any case, the priority was to overcome the current tribulation. This time, only a gust of wind blew from the depths of time and space. This wind was formless, shapeless, G-less, and Chi-less. No one on the scene detected it beforehand. Only when it came into contact with the primordial spirit treasures of the 3 other shores from the Heavenly God Academy did it reveal the presence of wind. Finally, the 3 primordial spirit treasures actually transformed into the smallest particles in the world and scattered with the wind. Everyone on the scene was dumbfounded. Especially the 3 from the Heavenly God Academy, who trembled all over, their scalps tingling, as if they were in a dream. These were magic treasures that could be called the top in the world. Only the Hongmeng Supreme Treasure, which was even rarer than the most ancient one, could surpass them. And yet, they were so easily destroyed by someone. What was the origin of this wind? What kind of monster did you summon again? After the gentle breeze, the 3 other shores of the Heavenly God Academy fled in disarray. The 6 Bian Shinmo, seeing that the situation was unfavorable, did not entangle further and directly returned to the Heart Demon realm. The Black-White Palace Master was just about to ask you about the origin of the wind. He then saw a massive surge of Heavenly Dao feedback rush in. Your strength increased steadily, growing by more than 8 times. Clearly, you had passed the great karma tribulation. You had a breakthrough to life and death realm 6th stage, and your strength reached a new level. Even if you had to face 3 opponents again, you would completely not fear the Heavenly God Academy's 3 other shores. No wonder so many forces gathered together. It seemed to be a concentrated eruption of the great karma tribulation. You survived unscathed. The Heavenly Dao then judged that you had passed the great karma tribulation. Of course, the greatest help was not the 5 other shores of the Black-White Academy, but the strange wind you had just summoned. This wind came from nowhere, just like the auspicious cloud from last time. The person behind the scenes never showed their face. Perhaps this was the style of the big shots, they all like to hide behind the scenes. But how would the cost of this action be repaid? Would it give you hints again, making you guess? Just then, a carefree voice that only you could hear sounded in your ear. Tell Taichu that I don't blame him for what happened back then. Your body trembled. It seemed this person was related to the Supreme Taoist Lord. Most likely, he was also one of the innate five Tai. Among the innate five Tai, besides the Supreme Taoist Lord, you only had karma interactions with Tai Yi Taoist because of the Tai Yi Divine Dipper. Could this person be Tai Yi Taoist? At this moment, the Black-White Palace Master curiously asked about the origin of the wind, and you stated your guess. Tai Yi Taoist. The Black-White Palace Master was very shocked. This was the head of the innate five Tai, the perfect other shore of the previous Great Tribulation. If it was he, being able to easily destroy primordial spirit treasures was quite normal. But how did you manage to get such a powerhouse to act? You laughed it off, saying you didn't know either, and that you had used the Heavenly God Academy's divine descent art anyway. This was called using their own methods against them. The Black-White Palace Master stopped asking, but the look in his eyes when he looked at you became a bit more wary. Being able to befriend a perfect other shore was no small opportunity. That Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign was only close to the Ancient Ones, several levels away from the perfect other shore. With such a powerhouse around, his attempt to possess you would likely fail. However, the Black-White Palace Master was mistaken on this point. The one who acted at that time was not Tai Yi Taoist, but the Supreme Taoist Lord. This was also a perfect other shore. Moreover, he had already begun to do subtraction and seek emptiness, touching upon the quasi-transcendence realm. If the Black-White Palace Master were to know, who knew how shocked he would be. After the great battle, you held a grand banquet at the Holy Court headquarters, inviting the 5 other shores of the Black-White Academy. During the banquet, many treasures Taoist always kept a cold face, not giving you any face at all. You then proactively suggested a battle with him to bury the hatchet. Many treasures Taoist said coldly, you said this yourself. Many treasures Taoist's strength was only a hair's breadth away from the Black-White Palace Master's. He had witnessed your strength just now, and even if you had a breakthrough, he was fully confident in suppressing you. Although it was impossible to kill you, he could still make you lose a lot of face. However, after the battle began, you only used the time it takes for 1 stick of incense to burn to utterly defeat him. Everyone was shocked. Your strength was already considered the best in the academy, even stronger than the Palace Master. Only many treasures Taoist was filled with shame and left, covering his face. 747. Destroy the academy, the messenger of heaven's secrets. Life and death, the way of Taishi. Saint Yang Emperor looked at you with great satisfaction, saying that having such an excellent disciple was his blessing. Nether King of Eternal Night also rarely toasted you. Kalpa Light Tao Ancestor said, not bad, 3 times in a row. But you felt that Black-White Palace Master seemed to have other intentions. After all, he was previously the strongest expert in the academy, but now his strength was actually surpassed by you, the young Palace Lord. It would be strange if he were happy. After everyone had their fill, you said that Heavenly God Academy's attack on you this time was unforgivable. You hoped that everyone could join you in retaliating. The few people exchanged glances, and finally, Saint Yang Emperor was the first to support you. Black-White Palace Master also had no choice but to agree. After all, Heavenly God Academy attacking you was a slap to Black-White Academy's face. As the Palace Master, he had to show something no matter what. So, after the banquet, you and the 4 other shore experts of Black-White Academy directly charged towards Heavenly God Academy. The Dean of Heavenly God Academy was recuperating when he saw you coming, and he was greatly alarmed. You didn't waste words, you started fighting as soon as you met. After overcoming the Karma Great Calamity, you alone could fight 3 other shore experts from Heavenly God Academy. Now you had 4 more helpers. Soon, you broke through Heavenly God Academy's defensive formation and suppressed the 3 of them. The Heavenly God Dean was both shocked and terrified, knowing he had kicked an iron plate, and begged for mercy. Taking the Taichu Divine Tablet by force was not our wish, it was instigated by the envoy from Heavenly Mystery Holy Land. Upon hearing the words, Heavenly Mystery Holy Land, the several other shore experts from Black-White Academy were greatly surprised. This was a force established by transcendent experts, always aloof from worldly affairs, only appearing in the world after a great calamity erupted. Could it be that the great calamity of destruction was about to erupt again? Seeing a few people hesitate, you directly held the Yuan Demon Blade and struck with killing intent. With 3 screams, the 3 other shore experts of Heavenly God Academy all perished. Since the lower realm, you had no good feelings for anything related to heavenly mystery. Heavenly God Academy first caused the death of Tianxi Saint Lord, and then targeted you. Even if the King of Heaven came today, you would not spare them. Black-White Palace Master sighed upon seeing this, saying you were too reckless. You said that all karma would fall upon you, telling them not to worry. Then you ordered your Tao body to start eradicating them, completely destroying Heavenly God Academy. Heavenly God Academy's various treasures and resources also went into your pocket. Nether King of Eternal Night couldn't hold back a little when he saw this, saying, "We all acted together, why did you take everything yourself? You said that this involved the karma of Heavenly Mystery Holy Land, and if he wanted it, you could give him a little." Nether King of Eternal Night ultimately didn't dare to take it. Therefore, it wasn't that you were stingy, it was that no one wanted them, so you took them all. After leveling Heavenly God Academy, you returned to Celestial Tin Holy Court. As for the few other shore experts from Black-White Academy, they returned to the Academy. Next, was the extremely important life-death calamity. The death rate of this calamity was second only to the final Heavenly Tao difficulty among the 3 disasters, 3 calamities, and 3 difficulties. It made countless people change their expressions at the mention of it. At the same time, it was also the watershed between the Sacrificial Tao middle stage and Sacrificial Tao late stage. Back then, when you ascended to the Ink River realm, many old ancestors of various forces were at Sacrificial Tao 7th stage. There was a huge strength gap compared to Sacrificial Tao 6th stage. You didn't know what your life-death calamity would be, or if it would be related to Heavenly Mystery Holy Land. You took out the Tai Divine Dipper, invested a massive amount of Saint Crystals, and began to check your life-death calamity. Soon, the Tai Divine Dipper gave a hint. Your life-death calamity would encounter the Tai Shi avatar of Tai Shi Taoist. Tai Shi, one of the innate 5 Tai, was also a perfect other shore. Even if it was an incarnation, it was estimated to have at least the strength of an ancient one's. This undoubtedly presented you with a very big challenge. Did you have to use Divine Descent Art again? However, the strongest person your Divine Descent Art could currently invite was also a perfect other shore. The Tai Shi avatar involved another perfect other shore. The expert invited by Divine Descent Art might not help. Let's see what solution the Tai Divine Dipper will give this time. It won't be as ambiguous as last time, right? You infused a large amount of primordial chi into the Tai Divine Dipper. This time, the Tai Divine Dipper did not disappoint you and provided a specific method. Cultivate the Tai Shi Tao, and its proficiency must surpass that of the Tao of Primordial Beginning. These were 2 requirements. You had cultivated the Tao of Primordial Beginning for a long time, so wanting the Tai Shi Tao to surpass it would be quite difficult. Of course, this was not the most difficult part. The hardest part was that you had no cultivation method for the Tai Shi Tao at all. Each of the innate 5 Tai was extremely rare. Apart from the Tao of Primordial Beginning obtained by chance, you had never heard of the other 4 for so long. Oh, right, Tai Yi Taoist wanted you to pass a message to Tai Chu Taoist. You could ask his historical phantom in the lower domain about it. You entrusted this matter to your lower realm Tao body. Your Tao body once again arrived before the historical phantom of Tai Chu Taoist. He was already accustomed to your arrival. Most of the time, you consulted him about the Tao of Primordial Beginning. But this time, you brought him different news. Tai Yi Taoist forgave him for something he did back then. The historical phantom of Tai Chu Taoist, upon hearing this news, was uncharacteristically moved. After a long time, he still shook his head and said, "It's already impossible to go back." You curiously asked, "What exactly happened back then?" Tai Chu Taoist said playfully, "This matter involves immense karma, are you sure you want to know?" You said, "Then forget it." The innate 5 Tai had terrifyingly high strength. You already had enough karma and didn't want to get involved in extra karma related to them out of curiosity. Then, you began to inquire about how to cultivate the Tai Shi Tao. Tai Chu Taoist frowned upon hearing the words, Tai Shi. It seemed there was some past grievance between the two. But he still replied that back then, all 5 of them left behind legacy stels. As long as you could find the Tai Shi stele, you could naturally cultivate. Of course, if you had strong enough connections, you could also seek guidance directly from Tai Shi Taoist. Direct guidance might not work. You said that your life-death calamity was the incarnation of Tai Shi Taoist. The historical phantom of Tai Chu Taoist felt some sympathy for you, saying that Guy's strength was astonishing, and you should pray for your own good. Knowing the information from your Tao body, your main body decided that you still had to go to Nine Ben's pavilion. However, you were trapped last time, so this time you didn't plan to go personally, but instead controlled a mechanical puppet to go. This was also the most common method many people used to purchase intelligence. Primordial Beginning Divine Tablet. The people at Nine Ben's pavilion were surprised, saying that there was indeed relevant intelligence, but it was worth 10 billion saint crystals. 748. 6 Major Forces, the Method of Sacrifice. The beginning of the journey, the dragon vein is built. I have to say, Nine Ben's pavilion's prices are exorbitant. Just providing relevant information costs such a high fee. Who knows how much it can earn in a year? If only I could subdue it. Of course, you are just thinking about it now. Nine Ben's pavilion has a deep background, it is said to be related to the most ancient one. With your current strength, you certainly cannot provoke it casually. After you paid, the person from Nine Ben's pavilion gave you a jade slip. It recorded 6 forces that are suspected to possess the primordial beginning divine tablet. These 6 forces all have ancient ones guarding them, and their strength is extraordinary. As for which force holds the primordial beginning divine tablet, Nine Ben's pavilion also does not know. You spent so much money, only to get an ambiguous answer. Damn it, isn't this just ripping you off? Fortunately, you were controlling a puppet, so no emotions could be seen, otherwise you would have given her a long face. After leaving Nine Ben's pavilion, you sent out 6 Tao bodies to investigate the primordial beginning divine tablet at the 6 major forces. Since even Nine Ben's pavilion couldn't ascertain the details, this certainly won't be achieved in a short time. Besides the method given by Tai Divine Dipper, you also need to make a few other preparations. The dragon vein of Tianqi Holy State has not yet been completed. If it is finished, it will significantly increase your strength. In the past, your strength was insufficient, so you dealt with them evasively. Now, why should you be wary of other races? Your main body quickly ordered the conscription of manpower to continue building the dragon vein. And this dragon vein is even larger than Tianqi Saint Lord's. You also personally took action to expel the evil chi beneath the dragon vein. However, this caused an uproar among the other races, and many ministers from other races submitted memorials, advising you to reconsider. You arrested all the other race members who submitted memorials and threw them into the celestial prison. Many people said that your majesty was possessed, actually attacking other races. Several other race nirvanas from Tianqi Holy State also came to your door, wanting an explanation. The strength of these other race nirvanas was not much stronger than a newly promoted nirvana, and they didn't even have primordial spirit treasures. Tianqi Saint Lord never even paid attention to them, let alone you. You directly took action and suppressed all several other race nirvanas. As for whether to kill them, you thought it was unnecessary. Because you only want to build the dragon vein now, not make enemies everywhere. If you kill them, the negative impact would be too great. Moreover, they can still be resurrected later, leading to endless troubles. It's better to suppress them for a period and release them after they yield. At this moment, the golden figure in the Hongmengdao Palace suddenly jumped out and said that as your strength increased, it had recovered some ancient memories and could advance by refining other race nirvanas. You were startled upon hearing this and asked what memories it had recovered. It said it had many ancient sacrificial scenes, with many human race members sacrificing to it. There were powerful human race members who used the lives of other race nirvanas to enhance their own power. It could completely remember this sacrificial method, so it wanted to give it a try. Isn't it just the lives of a few other race nirvanas? You generously gave them to the Hongmengdao Palace. Although killing them would cause trouble, how could it compare to the advancement of the Hongmengdao Palace? In the future, if you want to cultivate the Tao of primordial beginning, you will also need a lot of comprehension ability to catch up and surpass the progress of the Tao of primordial beginning. You, on the one hand, sent the other race nirvanas to the Hongmengdao Palace. On the other hand, Black-White Palace Master came to plead for them. He said that those few other race nirvanas had old ties with the academy and hoped you would show mercy and let them go. You reassured Black-White Palace Master, saying that you were only temporarily suppressing them to deter them, and would release them after a while. Black-White Palace Master was relieved upon hearing this and left. After Black-White Palace Master left, the smile on your face slowly disappeared. If you remember correctly, Black-White Palace Master is also of another race, right? Perhaps he even colludes with Yin-Yang Corp's sovereign. However, you are a person who respects teachers and the Tao, and you have no relevant evidence, so you certainly won't act against him for now. After the dragon vein matter was on the right track, you began to refine the Yuan demon blade. This guy is unruly. It has always refused to completely submit. But now that your strength has greatly increased, if it still refuses to submit, you will send it back for reforging. You used Nirvana Soul Fire to refine the Yuan Demon Blade's spirit for 81 days, and it finally couldn't bear it anymore, expressing its willingness to submit. With the cooperation of the spirit, the divine soul imprint of the Yuan Demon Sovereign in the Yuan Demon Blade was quickly erased, and your own divine soul imprint was branded on it. Besides the Yuan Demon Blade, you also obtained another primordial spirit treasure from the Heavenly God Academy, called the Mountain Driving Whip. It is the magic treasure of the Heavenly God Academy head. Previously, the primordial spirit treasures in the hands of the three Nirvanas of the Heavenly God Academy were all destroyed by Taiyi Taoist. However, the Heavenly God Academy head's strength is extraordinary, and he possesses two primordial spirit treasures. This one is an extra, and its power is even greater than that of the Yuan Demon Blade. The Heavenly God Academy head rarely uses it, so it is now a bargain for you. Refining this mountain driving whip is not something that can be done in a short time. You plan to refine it after the dragon vein is completed. A year later, one of your Tao bodies sent news, confirming that one of the 6 major forces did not possess the primordial beginning divine tablet. The reason for such a rumor was that this force had once obtained a partial cultivation method regarding the Tao of primordial beginning. To obtain this incomplete method, your main body personally went there once and spent some effort to get it. You began to study the Tao of primordial beginning. The Tao of primordial beginning represents the transformation of matter in the world from formless to tangible. It can freely change the form and structure of matter, possessing strong transformative abilities. Innate 5 are the 5 stages of the formation of all things in the universe. The Tao of primordial beginning is naturally related to the Tao of primordial beginning. And you have already cultivated the Tao of primordial beginning to a relatively profound level. Even though this is just an incomplete method, you could infer the whole from a part, and only took 3 months to get started with the Tao of primordial beginning. The moment you entered, you could feel another karma spreading out from your body. This should be the karma with Taishi Taoist. When you pass the life and death tribulation, this karma might be of great use. Another 5 years passed. Under the power of your entire celestial Tin Holy Court, the dragon vein was finally completed. As long as you are within the territory of the celestial Tin Holy Court, your power will increase by about 30%. For Nirvana experts, this is actually quite exaggerated. According to Tianchi Saint Lord's original plan, it could only increase by 20%, but you expanded the dragon vein to achieve this effect. Tianchi Saint Lord was also unlucky, falling at the moment before success. If the dragon vein had been completed, he certainly would not have been easily surrounded and killed by the Heavenly God Academy head and others. Fortunately, he had you, his sworn brother, who perfectly inherited his legacy, preventing his efforts from going to waste. 749. Sacrifice to alien races, destruction and catastrophe are coming. The human Emperor Palace, the ability to defy the heavens. However, you feel that the dragon vein of a single state isn't enough. Shouldn't you expand your territory? Look at the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, they have dozens of states. With your strength, swallowing a few more states shouldn't be a big problem, right? However, you decided to play it safe for now and wait until the Hongmeng Dao Palace advanced before making any moves. You asked the golden figure how long it would take to refine the several other dimension experts. The golden figure said that if it was given 10,000 years, it could refine the weakest among them. If it were to refine all of them, it would probably take at least 50,000 years. Your vision went dark, that would take an eternity. The golden figure knew you were a decisive person and quickly said, actually, there's a faster method, and that is to hold a grand sacrifice, using the power of all living beings' sacrifices to help me refine them. Your expression then improved slightly. The golden figure added, the sacrificers must be of the human race, and offerings must be presented. The more and stronger both are, the faster the refinement. There are many human race members in Tianchi Holy State, occupying half the territory. Regarding the sacrificers, there should be no problem. As for the offerings, that stumped you a bit. Where would you find so many powerful offerings? Suddenly, your eyes lit up. Weren't the other dimension races of Tianchi Holy State the best offerings? However, you couldn't use force. Tianxi Saint Lord merely expelled the other dimension races and still earned a reputation for being cruel and inhumane. If you were to sacrifice them, not only would you become infamous, but it would also draw attacks from other dimension experts in other states. Therefore, you needed to come up with a foolproof plan. But with your kind heart, how could you devise such a malicious scheme? One of your Tao bodies appeared at the opportune moment to solve your problem, saying that this matter could be left to him. You sighed and told him to go ahead. You didn't want to do this either. But there was no other way. You needed the Hongmeng Tao Palace to advance quickly to deal with the crisis. You could only make the other dimension races suffer a bit. Your Tao body was extremely efficient. Soon, various other dimension races rebelled within Tianxi Saint Lord's territory. Rebellion, of course, was a grave crime punishable by the extermination of the entire race. Other dimension races couldn't find fault with it either. So, you quickly captured the rebellious other dimension races, had the local human race hold a grand sacrifice, and offered the other dimension races to a holy object called the Hongmeng Tao Palace. As more and more other dimension races were sacrificed, the Hongmeng Tao Palace's refinement speed increased by thousands of times. Within 10 years, it had refined the weakest of the other dimension experts. This refinement was so thorough that it would be difficult for them to revive within this great calamity. Once a new great calamity began, if they hadn't revived, the surge of calamity chi would ensure they would never rise again. The price was the demise of hundreds of other dimension races in Tianxi Holy State. With so many other dimension races dying, Black White Palace Master couldn't help but come several times, asking you to show mercy. You said it was useless to tell you, he should persuade those other dimension races not to rebel. Otherwise, you were powerless. If you turned a blind eye to rebellion, wouldn't the rule of the Tianxi Saint Lord exist in name only? Black White Palace Master was speechless. He could only summon the high-ranking officials of the various other dimension races, telling them not to believe rumors and act recklessly. These high-ranking other dimension officials all swore they would never rebel, but soon after returning, they quickly joined the ranks of the rebels. Then, they were instantly turned into offerings. Black White Palace Master was also very troubled, not understanding why they were lining up to die, as if they were possessed. 12 years passed. Having received a large number of sacrifices, the Hongmeng Tao Palace once again refined a stronger other dimension expert, and it finally began to transform. You breathed a sigh of relief. Most of the other dimension races in Tianxi Holy State had been sacrificed by you, and those who weren't had mostly fled. If it still didn't transform, you would only be able to target other saint states. 16 years later, your Tao body, which had been gathering information, gradually uncovered the details of several major forces. It was finally confirmed that the Tai Shu Sword sect of Xuanchang Saint State and the Star Spirit race of Xingqian Saint State each possessed a primordial beginning divine tablet. It was just unknown which was the upper part and which was the lower part. But you were not in a hurry to act. You had to wait until the Hongmeng Tao Palace completed its advancement to have greater certainty. This transformation lasted a full 30 years. As the transformation was nearing completion, you went to the other dimension in advance to prevent any abnormal phenomena from manifesting externally. When the Hongmeng Tao Palace finally completed its advancement and became a primordial spirit treasure, auspicious chi filled the other dimension, and phenomena of the human race rising and all people worshipping appeared. You were somewhat puzzled as to why the phenomena were all related to the human race. Then, a plaque appeared outside the Hongmeng Tao Palace, with the words inscribed, Human Emperor Palace. At the same time, the heavenly Tao of the transcendent saint realm suddenly changed, with thunderbolts appearing out of thin air, and majestic figures emerging, only to quickly collapse. Then, phenomena such as the destruction of the starry sky, the evaporation of the earth, and the eruption of earth, water, wind, and fire appeared, clearly a sign of the apocalypse. This was a signal that the great calamity of destruction was about to descend. Many powerful beings were astonished. This was much faster than expected. For a time, the transcendent saint realm was in turmoil. And in the other dimension, you looked at the human emperor palace, greatly surprised. Could this be the true form of the Hongmeng Tao Palace? Walking into the palace, you saw that it was a golden expanse, not purple as before. In the deepest part of the palace, a majestic and luxurious dragon throne appeared. And the golden figure was nowhere to be found. You sensed it for a moment and then realized it had transformed into a 5-clawed golden dragon, coiled around a pillar in the main hall. You asked what was going on. Where was your Hongmeng Tao Palace? The five-clawed golden dragon left the pillar and rumbled. Before, it was just a disguise. Now, this is its true form. Besides the enhancement of all its previous abilities, it also has a powerful new function. You asked what it was. The five-clawed golden dragon kept you in suspense, saying you would know once you sat on the dragon throne. So, you walked to the dragon throne and slowly sat down. The moment you sat down, many scattered powers converged into a river, surging towards you. In just a few breaths, your strength surged 5 or 6 times. Even Yin-Yang Corp's sovereign would probably not be your opponent. And when you stood up and left the dragon throne, this boost still remained. What was this? Now you were truly shocked. The five-clawed golden dragon said, "This is the power of all the people under your jurisdiction. As long as they submit to you, they will contribute their power to you. The power contributed is their entire own power. For example, a human race expert at Sacrificial Tao 10th stage will contribute Sacrificial Tao 10th stage power to you." It was truly heaven-defying. Of course, there were 2 prerequisites. First, they must be of the human race, and second, they must sincerely submit to you. Otherwise, they would not contribute any power to you. You were dumbfounded upon hearing this. The human emperor palace had such a heaven-defying ability. Leaving aside its other innate abilities, this single ability alone left other primordial spirit treasures far behind. What dragon veins? In front of the human emperor palace, they were simply pathetic. 750. The power of the people has brought you great suffering. Prepare your army for war, Wing God Dynasty. However, your joy was short-lived, and your brows furrowed. This ability had a problem. That was, it forced you to constantly strengthen the human race forces. You must know that in your eyes, all races were equal. Favoring the human race went against your original intention. Furthermore, you were kind-hearted and disliked slaughter. If you strengthened the human race, it would inevitably lead to fierce conflicts with other alien races, resulting in rivers of blood, which was not what you desired. You sighed. This power of myriad people, it truly caused you much trouble. Then, you asked the five-clawed golden dragon if it had recovered more memories after this breakthrough to a primordial spirit treasure. What was the true origin of the human emperor palace? Why did it possess such heaven-defying abilities? The five-clawed golden dragon said that most of its ancient memories had indeed recovered, but the origin of the human emperor palace could not be told to you for now, as it involved great karma, and could only be revealed once you achieve the strength of the perfect other shore. It seemed that the origin of the human emperor palace was quite frightening. It was just unknown why it had fallen to the lower realm. Fortunately, it fell into your hands. And you were diligent enough. Otherwise, the human emperor palace truly would not have been able to restore its former glory. After experiencing other enhanced talents for a while, you left the other dimension and returned to the celestial Tin Holy Court. You found that many people in the Holy Court were discussing something called the Great Calamity of Destruction. After some inquiries, you learned that when you caused the Hongmeng Dao Palace to break through in the other dimension, signs of an impending great calamity appeared in the Transcendent Saint realm. According to common sense, whenever the great calamity of destruction was about to arrive, a disaster would first occur, followed by the signs. This would allow everyone to know the source of the great calamity of destruction. For example, the last great calamity was the war between gods and devils. Gods referred to innate holy beings, while devils were acquired devils. The conflict between the two had accumulated over several great calamities, finally erupting in the last great calamity. Only when the two truly began their great war did the heavenly Tao give out the signs of the great calamity. Like this time, the cause leading to the great calamity had not yet formed, so why did the signs of the great calamity suddenly appear? Something abnormal must be demonic, and many people debated this endlessly. You cursed inwardly. Damn it, why so fast? You haven't even achieved breakthrough to the other shore realm, and the great calamity of destruction is about to erupt. Couldn't you give me a little more time? I don't know who caused this great calamity, they truly deserve to be cut into 1,000 pieces. You also didn't know where the source of the great calamity was. But the signs of the great calamity undoubtedly increased your pressure significantly. You were originally hesitant about whether to vigorously conquer other places. Now that the great calamity was approaching, if you continued to be indecisive, you would inevitably turn into ashes. Therefore, you had to act immediately. No one knew that deep in the night of this day, you made an important decision. Soon, the celestial Tin Holy Court announced that to cope with the great calamity, the Tianqi Holy State would enter a state of war preparedness. This did not attract too much attention. After all, since the signs of the great calamity appeared, many places were on high alert. So, the actions of the celestial Tin Holy Court seemed perfectly normal to outsiders. Inside the celestial Tin Holy Court, military affairs began to be rapidly prepared. The massive war machine was put into operation within just 1 year. Your 8 Tao bodies also contributed their strength. To further expand your strength, you also called up your 9th Tao body from the lower realm. Anyway, everything in the lower realm was on the right track, so there was no need to worry too much. Moreover, the lower realm's strength was too weak, and it was no longer worth having your Tao body, comparable to the other shore realm, guard it. You could simply send a few sacrificial Tao 10th level individuals from the celestial Tin Holy Court to guard it. After the war machine was activated, your next step was to choose the direction of attack. The Tianqi Holy State bordered 3 major saint states, the Winged God Holy State to the north, the Tonghai Holy State to the east, and the Chengtai Holy State to the southwest. Among the 3 major saint states, the strongest was undoubtedly the Chengtai Holy State. Its territory alone was twice the size of the Tianqi Holy State. And it had the power of the Ancient Ones stationed there. It was the undisputed small overlord among the nearby saint states. As for the Winged God Holy State, it was almost entirely composed of alien races, and the human race had long been reduced to 2-legged sheep, almost completely eaten. Even if you conquered it, the benefits would not be significant. Because the power of myriad people you needed most came from the human race, even if alien races submitted to you, they could not generate the power of myriad people to enhance your strength. Then your best choice was only the Tonghai Holy State. In the Tonghai Holy State, human race forces occupied more than half of the territory. The Luli Buddhist sect, with whom you had dealings before, was also located here. However, due to severe internal strife and fragmentation within the Tonghai Holy State, there was no unified power. It was the best place for you to deploy troops. But you needed a proper reason to send troops, otherwise, it could easily trigger a chain reaction. If it led to a siege, that was not what you wanted to see. Just as you were contemplating a reason, the Winged God Holy Dynasty of the Winged God Holy State suddenly declared war on the Celestial Tin Holy Court. They claimed that the Celestial Tin Holy Court had slaughtered a large number of their alien brothers. The Winged God Holy Dynasty wanted to seek justice for them. It must be said that this disrupted all your plans. The Winged God Holy Dynasty had as many as 6 other Shore Realm experts. Although you were not afraid at all with the power of myriad people blessing you. Fighting them would only result in a mutually destructive outcome, and it would be difficult to gain any substantial benefits. You thought for a moment and felt that by changing your strategy, it might not be impossible to turn it into an advantage. The Nether King of Eternal Night from the Black-White Academy originated from the Winged God Holy Dynasty. If he went to mediate, it might be possible to avert this crisis. You quickly found the Nether King of Eternal Night, presented him with many valuable gifts, and asked him to be a mediator. The Nether King of Eternal Night readily agreed, but not long after, he returned with a troubled expression. The Winged God Holy Dynasty said that the Celestial Tin Holy Court must cede 1/3 of its land before they would withdraw their troops. Because they would not sit idly by and watch a powerful human race force rise in the south, only by ceding land would they believe that you were not the next Tianqi Saint Lord. To the Nether King of Eternal Night's surprise, you did not refuse. You said that ceding 1/3 of the land was too little, you might as well cede half. The Nether King of Eternal Night was greatly astonished. Were you so generous? This was not like your character. You continued, but what will be ceded is not the land of the Tianqi Holy State, but the Tonghai Holy State. The Tonghai Holy State is also predominantly human race. After I send troops to conquer it, I will gift half of the land to the Winged God Holy Dynasty. This way, it can both prove that I am not the next Tianqi Saint Lord and satisfy the appetite of the Winged God Holy Dynasty, truly killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The Nether King of Eternal Night relayed your words to the high-ranking officials of the Winged God. The Winged God high-ranking officials discussed for a while and agreed. After all, this would not cost them a single soldier. They could just watch your human race fight amongst yourselves, so why not? Even if you went back on your word then, you would already be greatly weakened and unable to contend with them. For them, there was no downside whatsoever. 751. Conquer Tonghai and divert the disaster to the west. Win the hearts of the people, the demonized version of the Holy Lord of Tianxi. Open black lens bracket. After the Winged God dynasty agreed, you said there was one more condition, which was for them to help you stop the forces of Chengtai Saint State. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You didn't want to be stabbed in the back when attacking Tonghai Holy State. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After all, Chengtai Saint State also has many human race forces and wouldn't just sit idly by. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Winged God dynasty emperor said it was simple. He would station troops at the border to put pressure on Chengtai Saint State, allowing you to attack with peace of mind. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After all, his holy dynasty was getting half the territory, so it wasn't for nothing. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With the help of Winged God Holy State, you had no more reservations and divided your troops into 3 routes to attack Tonghai Holy State. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Seeing that you indeed dispatched troops quickly, the people of the Winged God dynasty finally believed you somewhat. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It seemed that your previous sacrifice of foreign races was not for the human race to dominate, but merely to maintain your own rule. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. For your own rule, you would not hesitate to betray the interests of other human race members. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. From this perspective, you were not some extremist shouting for the rise of the human race. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your threat to the Winged God dynasty was also not that great. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The forces of Tonghai Holy State only reacted when your army was at their border, asking, since we are all human race, why must we fight? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You replied, since we are all human race, why don't you surrender to me instead of resisting? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This left the people of Tonghai Holy State utterly confused. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Tonghai Holy State was a loose sand, and under the assault of your 3 armies, they retreated steadily, having no choice but to seek foreign aid. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The greatest foreign aid they could seek was Chengtai Saint State. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, as soon as Chengtai Saint State made a move to dispatch troops, Winged God Holy State continuously harassed them, making it difficult for them to spare their hands for a while. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In this way, you only spent 3 years to conquer the entire Tonghai Holy State. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It was mostly high-level advancement, with middle and lower-level armies taking over the territories. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Moreover, your main body never made a move. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Just relying on the 9 Daoshan, you made the powerful individuals of Tonghai Holy State crumble. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Tonghai Holy State had 4 human race beyonds, named Linglong Chess Saint, Luli Buddha Venerable, Wanwa Old Ancestor, and White Tiger Killer Venerable. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 3 of them were captured by you, and only the calculating Linglong Chess Saint managed to escape beforehand. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You did not intend to kill the 3 captured ones. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You wanted them to become your subjects. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In that case, all their power would transform into your power, benefiting you immensely. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your current strength was already close to that of the ancient ones. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. If you were to subdue these 3 human race beyonds, even the ancient ones would probably find it hard to do anything to you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, those who could break through to beyond were all exceptional heroes among millions. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Making them submit would be quite difficult. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Anyway, you had plenty of time, so you would just wear them down. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After you completely conquered Tonghai Holy State, the Winged God dynasty of Winged God Holy State immediately sent an envoy to demand that you cede half of the territory as agreed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Moreover, this half of the territory was not just any half, but the most fertile half of Tonghai Holy State, carefully chosen by the Winged God Holy Land. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You told the envoy not to rush, saying that you had only initially subdued it, and it would not be too late to discuss the matter after you had completely quelled all rebellious forces. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, the envoy shook his head and said that the Holy Emperor had ordered an immediate session, as delays might lead to unforeseen complications. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Upon hearing this, you stopped pretending and immediately took control of the envoy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You cast a mind secret art on him, completely controlling him. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then, you sent the envoy to Chengtai Saint State, where he arrogantly told the emperor of the Chengtai dynasty, "Our Holy Emperor has ordered that your celestial Tin Holy Court and Chengtai dynasty must cede half of your territory, or we will march south." Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Now the celestial Tin Holy Court has already surrendered, it's up to your Chengtai dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Chengtai Emperor was furious and slapped him to death. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Winged God dynasty was indeed troublesome, but daring to threaten the Chengtai dynasty like this clearly showed they didn't know their own limits. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The two dynasties then erupted into fierce battles at the border. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Winged God dynasty was temporarily unable to attend to the matter of dividing Tonghai Holy State. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Meanwhile, the people of the celestial Tin Holy Court took the opportunity to vigorously rectify Tonghai Holy State and win over the hearts of the people. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Only human race members who truly submitted to you could increase your power. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And the fastest way, naturally, was to let them gain tangible benefits. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This necessitated you to stage a Holy Realm version of beating the local tyrants and dividing the land. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Although cultivators did not farm, they also needed their own immortal cave and territory. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Therefore, this move was also extremely applicable in the cultivation world. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Soon, a grand and sweeping reform began. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The human race of Tonghai Holy State originally thought that after being ruled, they would face a miserable life. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Not only would their resources be plundered, but they would also be enslaved. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Unexpectedly, after being ruled by the celestial Tin Holy Court, they directly entered a harmonious society. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. For a time, the power of the myriad people surged forth. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Making your strength continuously rise. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Of course, there were also drawbacks to doing this. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. That was, it caused dissatisfaction among the native people of the celestial Tin Holy Court. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The natives hadn't even had the beating the local tyrants and dividing the land policy implemented. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Yet Tonghai Holy State was the first to implement it. Why? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The reason you hadn't done this before was partly due to the celestial Tin Holy Court having a certain popular base, and partly due to concerns about foreign races. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Because once you did this, you would be an even more extreme person than the Tianxi Saint Lord, which would invite retaliation from surrounding foreign races. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But now it didn't matter. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were already on the verge of tearing apart with the Winged God dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Now you had to seize the opportunity while it was fighting the Chengtai dynasty and unable to be distracted, to quickly win over the people's hearts and strengthen your power. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As long as your strength advanced further, reaching the level of the Ancient Ones, you would temporarily fear no danger. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Since there was also demand from the celestial Tin Holy Court, you could simply implement it there as well. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Tianxi Saint Lord was not like the defeated Tonghai Holy State, which was a loose sand. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The internal distribution of benefits within the Holy Court had already been completed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. When you did this, the civil and military officials immediately submitted memorials to oppose it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Whoever dared to oppose, you would kill. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were of great virtue and kindness, caring about the people's hearts, not the lives of these corrupt officials. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Soon, the imperial court was also filled with bloodshed by your hand. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Within the celestial tin holy court, great changes also occurred. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Countless forces were dismantled and crushed by you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Only then did they finally understand that you were the demonized version of the Tianxi Saint Lord. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Tianxi Saint Lord only dealt with foreign races, and still adopted a conciliatory attitude towards the major human race forces. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But you did not spare these major human race forces either. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Whoever hindered you from winning over the people's hearts, you would kill. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Countless common people and lower level cultivators all hailed you as a saint, monarch and human emperor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Although some high level cultivators were killed, the power of the myriad people you gained did not decrease, but rather increased. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This was the will of the people. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 1 year later, your strength had increased threefold compared to before. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You felt that even the ancient ones would find it difficult to kill you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this time, the border battle between the Winged God dynasty and the Chengtai dynasty also temporarily came to an end. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Winged God dynasty once again sent someone to demand half of the Tonghai Holy State territory. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This time, the one who came was also a powerful winged race beyond. Close black lens bracket. 752. Suppress the Winged God and offer sacrifices. Defeat the Emperor of Chengtai and obtain the Taishi Divine Monument. You don't pretend anymore and directly suppress him. Hongmengdao Palace, which is now the Human Emperor Palace, can still refine alien shore creatures to enhance its power. If you deliver yourself to my doorstep, then you can't blame me. The Winged God Holy Emperor was furious and immediately brought 4 alien shore creatures to your door, attempting to execute a beheading operation against you. The Winged God Holy Emperor himself was in existence close to the Ancient Ones. His strength was almost on par with the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign. With the addition of 4 other alien shore creatures, he was confident he could kill you. After all, according to intelligence, the Celestial Tin Holy Court only had 1 shore creature, which was you. Even if you had the record of annihilating the Heavenly God Academy and defeating Tonghai Holy State, how could you be an opponent against 5 shore creatures? However, the result disappointed him. You didn't even use your true body, just 2 Dao bodies suppressed the 5 alien shore creatures. 1 Dao body fought against 4. The Winged God Holy Emperor was a bit trickier, requiring 1 of your Dao bodies to fight him alone. This battle shocked many who were secretly observing. Unbeknownst to them, your strength had become so terrifying. One must know that you had only recently passed the great calamity of karma and weren't even a shore creature. With your comprehension ability, it's no exaggeration to call you the #1 prodigy of this great calamity of destruction. After suppressing the 5 alien shore creatures, you launched a massive invasion of Winged God Holy State from Tianxi Holy State and Tonghai Holy State, dividing your forces into 2 paths. One path left no survivors, capturing all alien races encountered for sacrifice. The cruelty of your methods even led the Black-White Academy and the Nether King of Eternal Night to plead with you multiple times. Of course, you ignored them. Finally, they even invited the Saint Yang Emperor, hoping you would show mercy for his sake as your master. You still didn't agree. The Saint Yang Emperor said that he was not of the human race either, but a 3-legged golden crow. Did you intend to kill him too? You said that Master was joking. This time, the Winged God Holy Dynasty brought it upon themselves. Since they wanted to kill you, they had to pay the price. The Saint Yang Emperor sighed and left helplessly. 2.5 years later, you had sacrificed more than half of the alien races in Winged God Holy State. The Human Emperor Palace once again refined 2 alien shore creatures, greatly increasing its power. The comprehension ability amplification also increased from 3,000 times to 5,000 times. This dramatically boosted your speed in comprehending the Tai Chi Dao. The strength of your Dao body also increased from 60% of your true body to 70%. And at this time, an unexpected event occurred. The Changtai dynasty suddenly pressed its army, forcing you to stop the slaughter. Confused, you sent an envoy to inquire. The Changtai dynasty was also predominantly human race and had just fought a major war with the winged god Holy dynasty, so why were they sticking up for them? The Changtai emperor said, "The strongest 8 desolations divine dynasty in the transcendent saint realm today was established by alien races. If you keep slaughtering alien races everywhere, and it provokes the 8 desolations divine dynasty to act, it will be a catastrophe, and it might even affect my Changtai dynasty." It turned out this fellow was afraid of being caught in the crossfire. But he was afraid, and you were not. You hadn't even passed the life and death tribulation. You urgently needed strength to seize the primordial beginning divine tablet. You would offend many more people in the future and wouldn't be timid. So you didn't take the Changtai dynasty's threat to heart, saying that if they wanted to fight, you would fight, and you also wanted to see the strength of the ancient ones behind the Changtai dynasty. This strong attitude confused the Changtai emperor. Were you truly arrogant, or did you genuinely possess such strength? After much deliberation, he decided to challenge you. If he won, you would withdraw your troops, otherwise, the Changtai dynasty would not interfere with the affairs of winged god Holy State. The Changtai emperor was not an ancient one, but he was infinitely close to one, and his strength was 3 points stronger than the winged god Holy Emperor. You agreed to the challenge. 7 days later, you fought a great battle at the border. This time, it was still your Dao body that acted, defeating the Changtai emperor. The Changtai emperor left dejectedly. A single Dao body defeated him. What was the true strength of your main body? Could it really be comparable to an ancient one? But your realm wasn't even a shore creature, this was too absurd. This battle shook the 4 seas and 8 desolations, and many speculated that you possessed the strength of an ancient one. Many alien races in the surrounding saint states quietly moved away. They were afraid that you would come to their doorstep. Another 2.5 years passed. You sacrificed all the alien races in winged god Holy State. As the power increased, even with the same number of alien races, the human emperor palace this time refined 3 alien shore creatures, and its power increased significantly again. The strength of the Dao body increased from 70% to 80%. Your Supreme Epiphany's amplification multiple also reached 7,000. Over the years, as you won over people's hearts, your power of the masses increased significantly, doubling your strength again. You believed that you could definitely fight an ancient one. If you were to use the human emperor palace again, even an ordinary ancient one would not be your opponent. But the 5-clawed golden dragon had said that the human emperor palace had an extraordinary origin, and unless necessary, it should not be exposed. Even without using the human emperor palace, you could plan to acquire 2 primordial beginning divine tablets. You first set your sights on the star spirits of Star Saint State. Not only because the star spirits were an alien race, but you had also thoroughly investigated them over the years. The star spirits held the upper volume, and the Tai Shu sword sect of Xuanchang Saint State held the lower volume. To master the Tai Chi Dao, you naturally prioritized seizing the content of the upper volume. Your true body, accompanied by 7 Dao bodies, headed to Star Saint State. Star Saint State was separated from Tianxi Holy State by more than a dozen saint states. In your hand, you had the primordial spirit treasure, winged god heaven shaking wings, taken from the winged god Holy Emperor. This was a speed-type primordial spirit treasure. Even now, without using any primordial spirit treasure, you could reach it in just 1 day. If you used the winged god heaven shaking wings, it would only take 1 hour. You quickly arrived at Star Saint State with your Dao bodies. Your 7 Dao bodies disguised themselves as star spirits and infiltrated the star spirit race. 3 days later, the Dao bodies who had infiltrated high positions launched a simultaneous attack, instantly plunging the entire star spirit race into chaos. The star spirit ancient one made a move, but was blocked by your true body. You told him to hand over the primordial beginning divine tablet, and you would spare his clansmen's lives. The star spirit ancient one snorted coldly and said, "Defeat me first." Quote, you fought for over 1,000 rounds, with neither side gaining an advantage. Ultimately, that ancient one compromised and handed over the primordial beginning divine tablet. You took the divine tablet and retreated. That ancient one, looking at the direction you left, murmured, "Indeed, the great calamity is approaching, and all sorts of monsters and demons are emerging." Quote. In fact, several forces had already pressured the star spirit race, wanting to obtain the primordial beginning divine tablet. He was caught between a rock and a hard place. Your appearance, however, allowed him to go with the flow. Otherwise, he would not have handed over the primordial beginning divine tablet so easily. 753. Gao Ling, Han Shuang, and the Burning Heaven Flame Emperor. Pretending to negotiate peace, they fought against the Ancient Ones. Yu Chang take the Taichu divine tablet, and the pressure will definitely shift to you. Although you have disguised yourself, for the Ancient Ones, there are many ways to find you. However, for you, you must get the item. No matter how terrifying the Ancient Ones are, they are far worse than Taishi Taoist. Taishi Taoist is your biggest problem right now. You got the Taichu divine tablet, returned to the celestial Tin Holy Court, and immediately began to study it. As you expected, this upper part describes the method of cultivating the Taishi Dao. And with the primordial beginning divine tablet, your comprehension ability speed will be greatly improved. You began to make rapid progress in the primeval Dao. While comprehension ability, you also didn't forget to further expand the territory of the celestial Tin Holy Court. After all, only with more human race can your strength grow. Even if there is no human race, only foreign races, they can still provide sacrifices for your human emperor palace to refine the foreign races, other shores. Therefore, the war cannot stop. Changtai Saint State is still a tough nut to crack. However, Tonghai Holy State and Winged God Holy State, which you have already conquered, have adjacent territories. To the east of Tonghai Holy State is the Endless Sea, and to the south is Yanhang Saint Province. To the east of Winged God Holy State is also the Endless Sea, but to the west is Jialing Saint State, and to the north is Hanshuang Saint State. In other words, besides Changtai Saint State, you still have 3 places where you can deploy troops. Yanhang, Jialing, and Hanshuang. The strongest is Yanhang Saint Province, and the Burning Heaven Flame Emperor of the Yanhang Demon Dynasty within its borders is an Ancient Ones. The Yanhang Demon Dynasty has also been eyeing Tonghai Holy State, and the chaos in Tonghai Holy State is inseparable from it. However, because the Burning Heaven Flame Emperor was in seclusion, and the Celestial Tin Holy Court's power was too strong, the Yanhang Demon Dynasty stood by and watched during the previous Great War. You will not attack Yanhang Saint Province temporarily. Your gaze is on Jialing Saint State and Hanshuang Saint State. These 2 great saint states have no Ancient Ones. Hanshuang Saint State is a bitter cold land, with relatively few human race, mostly a foreign race called the Frost Race. They can blend into the ice and snow, making them quite difficult to catch. Jialing Saint State, on the other hand, is divided among the human race, blood race, and Azure Luan race. Your next target is Jialing Saint State. Due to the Celestial Tin Holy Court's strong aggressiveness, the movements of its army have always been a key focus for neighboring saint states. When they saw the Celestial Tin Holy State's army gathering at the border of Winged God Holy State and Jialing Saint State, everyone knew that Jialing Saint State was likely to be engulfed in war. And if there were no strong foreign aid, it would definitely be conquered by the Celestial Tin Holy Court. The 3 major overlords of Jialing Saint State, the human race, blood race, and Azure Luan race, though usually full of animosity, immediately united to face the external threat when confronted with such a situation. But their strength alone was far from enough. They immediately dispatched envoy groups to lobby Changtai Saint State, Yanhang Saint Province, and Hanshuang Saint State, explaining the principle of, when the lips are gone, the teeth will be cold. Especially the 2 great saint states, Changtai and Yanhang, even with Ancient Ones in charge, if the Celestial Tin Holy Court were allowed to continue expanding, their fate would probably not be much better. The 3 great saint states naturally understood. Even if Jialing Saint State did not send envoys, they would still put pressure on the Celestial Tin Holy Court. Especially the Changtai Emperor, who even declared that he had already made concessions regarding the Winged God Holy State last time, and if the Celestial Tin Holy Court continued to occupy territory, the Ancient Ones behind the Imperial Dynasty would act. The Yanhang Demon Dynasty also threatened to invite the Burning Heaven Flame Emperor out of seclusion. Upon hearing the news, the Celestial Tin Holy Court immediately declared that everything was open for discussion, and invited envoys from several major forces to discuss a peace agreement. It seemed that the Celestial Tin Holy Court was showing weakness. While the envoys from various forces were on their way, tragic news suddenly spread. all the other shore powerhouses of Jialing Saint State and Hanshuang Saint State had been captured by you. And the Celestial Tin Holy Court's army unhesitatingly advanced into Jialing Saint State, seizing territory. As for Hanshuang Saint State, due to the relatively sparse population, most of them were Frost Race members with extremely strong escape abilities, making them very difficult to deal with. So your Dao body, leading an elite army of hundreds of thousands of sacrificial Dao experts, directly went forth, sacrificing the Frost Race members on the spot as soon as they were caught. These sacrificial Dao masters were all elites you had drawn from various saint states. Even if the Frost Race was difficult to deal with, facing so many sacrificial Dao masters, they had almost no power to resist. Chengtai Saint State and Yanhang Saint Province were furious at your actions, and immediately, an ancient and powerful qi burst forth from the Chengtai Holy Court, entering Tianxi Holy State. This was the Ancient One's, Chengtai Old Ancestor, who couldn't help but make a move. Your main body immediately went to meet him. You actually withstood Chengtai Old Ancestor's attack, which greatly surprised him. It seems you truly possess the strength of an Ancient One's. While the great battle was ongoing, another powerful qi suddenly came from the direction of Yanhang Saint Province. The Ancient One's, Burning Heaven Flame Emperor, had come out of seclusion. Chengtai Old Ancestor was overjoyed and sneered, "Let's see what you'll use to block this now." One must know that the Burning Heaven Flame Emperor was even stronger than him. Many other shore powerhouses secretly watching the battle also sighed. This was the consequence of being too sharp. However, 3 more powerful qi rose from within the Tianxi Saint Lord. Your Dao body has 80% of your strength. Even if he is slightly stronger than Chengtai Old Ancestor. But 3 Dao bodies are completely enough to resist him. Everyone was shocked, not expecting you to have such a trump card. The origins of these mysterious powerhouses were unknown, some said they were your clones, others said they were foreign aid you invited. But undoubtedly, they were also part of your strength. After a great battle, seeing that they couldn't do anything to you, Chengtai Old Ancestor and Burning Heaven Flame Emperor had no choice but to retreat. But before leaving, both of them left harsh words. Your occupation of Jialing Saint State and Hanshuang Saint State was already the limit. If you were still greedy, the two would invite other Ancient Ones to attack you. You readily agreed. After successively occupying 4 great saint states, you also needed some time to digest them. Even if the two didn't leave harsh words, you wouldn't continue to act for the time being. How long is this? Temporary. You also don't know. Anyway, time is flexible. 3 years later, Jialing Saint State and Hanshuang Saint State were completely pacified. Your strength increased by another 30%. And most of the foreign races in the 2 great saint states were offered as sacrifices to the Human Emperor Palace. The Human Emperor Palace once again refined 3 ordinary foreign race other shores. At this time, your comprehension ability amplification had reached 9,000 times, which was astonishing. Your Dao body's strength also reached 90% of your main body. One more step, and it will possess the main body's strength. After you break through to Immortal Emperor, your Dao body has never possessed the main body's strength. Now, it is finally approaching this step. One can only say that the Human Emperor Palace is indeed heaven-defying. 754. The Supreme Being of Matter, the Master of the Great Void Sword. The God-destroying Legion, triggering a catastrophe of life and death. Your Tai Shi Dao has also advanced by leaps and bounds in these 3 years. The Tai Shi Dao is the venerable rule of matter. You can already initially reorganize matter, so minor skills like turning stone into gold are not worth mentioning. As long as you know the material structure of a vault of heaven treasure, you can even use ordinary materials to reorganize a high-tier vault of heaven treasure. And the time taken is very short, only the time it takes for 1 stick of incense to burn. If it's a mid to low-tier vault of heaven treasure, then the time taken is even shorter. This ability is quite terrifying. Artifact refining is actually a form of material reorganization, and artifact refining Great Master and Grand Master are the people who have mastered the tricks within it. But they need precious materials for artifact refining, while you can forge with ordinary materials. Besides artifact refining, you can also forge divine pills and miraculous medicines. If all the qi refining cultivators and alchemists knew, they would probably worship you as their ancestral master. You have already been using this ability to mass-produce resources for your army. In these 3 years, your 9 great avatars have also been busy. They have created a large batch of military supplies, making full preparations for the subsequent invasion, maintaining world peace. However, it is still a bit short of the Tao of primordial beginning. You estimate it will take a few more years to catch up. Furthermore, the lower volume of the Tai Shi Dao must be acquired as soon as possible. Only then can your progress in the Tai Shi Dao be ensured. The Tai Shu Sword sect in Xuanchang Saint State has long been thoroughly investigated by you. The Taichu Divine Tablet is on the Ancient Ones, the Tai Shu Sword Master. However, the Tai Shu Sword Master is usually like a dragon, showing its head but not its tail. But it's almost the Tai Shu Sword sect's 100 billion year anniversary celebration. You don't believe he won't show up. 3 months later, the Tai Shu Sword sect's celebration was held as scheduled. The Tai Shu Sword Master indeed appeared. But there were also several other Ancient Ones on the scene who were on good terms with the Tai Shu Sword sect. Therefore, you did not act immediately. After the celebration ended, you followed the Tai Shu Sword Master all the way and watched him enter another dimension filled with sword chi. That should be where he usually resides. You directly ordered the 9 great avatars to seal off the other dimension. Which fellow Taoist is making a move? The Tai Shu Sword Master was greatly alarmed. You casually gave the name of an alien Ancient Ones. Unexpectedly, the Tai Shu Sword Master knew that Ancient Ones and directly exposed your lie. And he also threatened you, telling you to stop immediately, otherwise, after escaping, he would definitely find his friends to demand an explanation. You were enraged out of humiliation. Since he doesn't appreciate your kindness, then don't blame you for being ruthless. It is difficult for you to kill an Ancient Ones. It is even difficult to suppress him. You can only trap him for a while. But, you have the Human Emperor Palace. If this old fellow doesn't know what's good for him, then don't blame you for being ruthless. You directly took out the Human Emperor Palace, which had refined nearly 10 alien perfect other shores. The Tai Shu Sword Master was suppressed on the spot. Seeing the Human Emperor Palace, the Tai Shu Sword Master was shocked and said, "Is this the legendary evil item?" However, he hesitated, is it so weak, or is it a counterfeit? You asked him what exactly he knew. The Tai Shu Sword Master remained silent. It was difficult for you to search the soul of an Ancient Ones, so you beat him up. Afterward, you found the second primordial beginning divine tablet on him. You could not hide your joy, and after ransacking and destroying the Sword Chi other dimension, you returned to the Celestial Tin Holy Court. Afterward, you continued to advance by leaps and bounds in the Tai Shi Dao. One of your 9 great avatars remained to assist the Human Emperor Palace in suppressing the Tai Shu Sword Master. The other 8 were all mass-producing military supplies. Currently, the Celestial Tin Holy Court has 6 major legions. Among them, 5 major legions are composed of mid to low-tier cultivators, each with over 100 million members. And your personally named God-slaying legion is entirely composed of those in the Sacrifice Dao realm. The Sacrifice Dao realm, in the Transcendent Saint realm, is considered a minor expert and can travel to various saint states. Even the former Yong'an prefecture only had 20 to 30,000 cultivators in the Sacrifice Dao realm. However, although cultivators in the Sacrifice Dao realm are rare, your territory is vast. Even a remote place like Yong'an prefecture had 20 to 30,000 cultivators in the Sacrifice Dao realm. And the Tianxi Holy State has over 100 prefectures, plus you have conquered the other 4 major saint states. The number of cultivators in the Sacrifice Dao realm within your territory is actually quite astonishing. Your God-slaying legion has already reached 1 million members. Moreover, there are also 100,000 subjugated alien sacrificial Dao cultivators who can be used as cannon fodder. If they die, they are sacrificed to the Human Emperor Palace, not a single bit is wasted. Now, almost everyone in your God-slaying legion possesses 2 or 3 high-tier Vault of Heaven treasures. Quite extravagant, and as long as one is at Sacrifice Dao realm level 10 or above, you will also issue a top-tier Vault of Heaven treasure. You are currently unable to directly manufacture top-tier Vault of Heaven treasures. But you have slaughtered many alien races, and the gains have been quite substantial. Although top-tier Vault of Heaven treasures are precious and only some half-step perfect other shores possess them, they are not that scarce for you. Moreover, you have also obtained a large amount of other resources, placed in the army, which can be exchanged for military merits. Most of the Sacrifice Dao realm experts in the God-slaying legion were actually conscripted by you. After all, Sacrifice Dao realm cultivators live freely and happily, who would want to be a soldier? When the Tianxi Saint Lord was still around, the Celestial Tin Holy Court only had 30,000 elite legions composed of sacrificed Dao realm cultivators. After entering the military camp, everyone found that the treatment was surprisingly good. Many people are now willing to stay. Another 5 years passed. Your achievements in the Tai Shi Dao finally surpassed the Dao of primordial beginning. You can now use ordinary materials to manufacture top-tier Vault of Heaven treasures. And it only takes a quarter of an hour. If word gets out, it will surely shock countless people. In these 5 years, due to fewer sacrifices, the human Emperor Palace only refined 2 alien perfect other shores. Its power increased again slightly. To rapidly strengthen the human Emperor Palace, a large number of alien races are still needed. To obtain alien races, war must be waged. Soon, you are preparing to face the life-death tribulation directly. After the tribulation, the mere Chengtai Saint Court and Yanheng Saint Court are not worth fearing. At that time, the human Emperor Palace will be able to improve rapidly again. What worries you, however, is this. Can the Tai Divine Dipper be 100% reliable? After all, this concerns the perfect other shore, and you are not sure if the Tai Divine Dipper is completely reliable. But you have some confidence in your strength. With the blessing of the power of the myriad people, your strength is not weaker than that of the ancient ones. And the Tai Shi Taoist only has one incarnation. Even if you can't win, you shouldn't be easily killed, right? Afterward, you entered the deep dimension and directly triggered the life-death tribulation. An incomparably majestic man slowly descended before you. The incarnation of the Tai Shi Taoist has descended. 755. Shocking the 4 directions, 7 levels of life and death. Trampling Changtai and Yanheng, a 100-year agreement. The perfect and supreme aura of the Tai Shi Taoist avatar spread out, immediately alarming many old men from the transcendent saint realm. This is the aura of a perfect other shore. There are only a few perfect other shore on the surface of the transcendent saint realm. Each one is a great figure who dominates the saint realm. Therefore, the Tai Shi Taoist avatar immediately attracted a lot of attention. The will of many of the most ancient one in the transcendent saint realm quickly arrived here. This seems to be the Tai Shi Taoist of the last great tribulation. He disappeared for a long time, how could he appear here? Many people were confused. Then, they saw him fighting with you. Where did this junior come from, so fierce? Everyone was even more surprised by this. But soon someone recognized your identity and realm. They never expected that this Tai Shi Taoist avatar was actually your life and death tribulation. This is too abnormal. It seems that even the heavenly Tao wants to destroy you. You fought with the Tai Shi Taoist avatar for a while and found that his strength was not static, but getting stronger and stronger. It was impossible to defeat the opponent at all. Given enough time, you will undoubtedly lose. Then, you revealed the Tao of primordial beginning. The Tai Shi avatar, seeing this, attacked even more fiercely. And you immediately revealed the Tai Shi Tao, and only then did the Tai Shi avatar relax his offensive and transmit a vast will. Junior, the Tai Shi Tao is not used like this. Then the Tai Shi avatar also attacked you with the Tai Shi Tao. Various complex application methods that seemed incredibly complex to you were used effortlessly in his hands. You fell into an epiphany. When you woke up, you found that the Tai Shi avatar was standing aside and did not attack you. Seeing you wake up, the Tai Shi avatar coldly snorted, daring to cultivate the Tao of primordial beginning is an offense to me. If my disciples hadn't all died, I wouldn't have spared your life. After speaking, the Tai Shi avatar slowly dissipated. You successfully passed the life and death tribulation. You broke through to the 7th level of life and death. A massive amount of heavenly Tao feedback surged towards you, and your cultivation base instantly increased tenfold in just a few breaths. Incredible, simply incredible. The great power in the dark watched with fear and trepidation. You kid haven't even broken through to the other shore yet, and your strength is already so exaggerated, you are truly an anomaly. Then, you left the deep dimension. Since your strength has improved, there is no need to keep the Chengtai dynasty and the Yanheng demon dynasty. Over the years, you had already deployed a large number of troops on the borders of the 2 great saint state. When you returned, with a single order, the army immediately moved out. The Chengtai dynasty and the Yanheng demon dynasty both sent you condemnations and protests, saying that you destroyed the friendship between the 2 dynasties. You sneered. What friendship is there? If you don't accept it, then fight. The army of the Celestial Tin Holy Court, armed to the teeth, advanced unimpeded. Fighting 1 against 2, they were still able to defeat the 2 major forces completely. However, the Changtai Emperor and the Burning Heaven Flame Emperor did not make a move, either hiding or preparing a big move. Even if they wanted to hide, they couldn't hide for long, because the Celestial Tin Holy Court's army advanced too quickly, and the armies of the 2 major forces could only be described as throwing away their armor and fleeing. Within half a month, the 2 appeared. Accompanying them was an Ancient One from the White Fox clan. The White Fox clan is one of the Fox clan branches in the Heavenly Fox Saint State. And the Fox clan is one of the royal family of the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty. The meaning behind this is thought-provoking. The Ancient One of the White Fox clan advised you to stop immediately, otherwise, don't blame them for ganging up on you. You told them to bring it on. Then, you fought in a chaotic mass. Fighting with more against less, the 3 originally thought they had the victory in hand, but they didn't expect to be suppressed by you alone. When they wanted to retreat, your 9 great avatars appeared together and suppressed them all. This battle shook dozens of surrounding Saint State. It also caused a considerable stir in the Transcendent Saint realm. In the Transcendent Saint realm, the perfect other shore are high and mighty and rarely make a move. The most ancient one are generally used for deterrence and rarely make a move. The more common top combat power that makes a move is the Ancient One. You captured 3 Ancient One in one battle. This kind of record is extremely rare in the Transcendent Saint realm. In the past, many forces did not pay too much attention to you. But now, they are extremely vigilant. Without the ancestor sacrificing to the Tao, the Changtai dynasty quickly announced its surrender. As for the Yanheng Demon dynasty, it was still stubbornly resisting. Because its interior is dominated by foreign races. Even the Burning Heaven Flame Emperor is a foreign race. And your attitude towards foreign races has always been to kill them all. So even if they wanted to surrender, they wouldn't have the courage. It's better to let the front line resist for a while and accelerate their escape from the rear. This is also good, it just gives you a reason for sacrifice. As for escaping, these foreign races are all precious resources, how could you let them escape? You directly sent 2 Tao body to guard the border, and not a single foreign race would be let go. As for the Changtai dynasty, you also sent officials from the Celestial Tin Holy Court to take over all the territories. The Changtai Emperor said with difficulty, "Can you not confiscate the wealth of the rich and distribute land?" You firmly said, "No, this concerns the well-being of billions of common people, how can it be abolished?" You originally wanted to let the Changtai Emperor be a prince, but you didn't expect his ideological awareness to be so low. You directly demoted him to a commoner, and all the royal family's property was confiscated. Those who dared to resist were killed on the spot. While vigorously carrying out reforms, you also vigorously carried out sacrifices. The Celestial Tin Holy Court was busy again. And within a few days, the Fox clan of the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty sent someone to negotiate. The envoy was very polite, not using power to pressure others, but wanting to redeem the Ancient One of the White Fox clan. Seeing that the envoy was so polite, you did not propose overly harsh conditions, just asked him for 10 or 8 Hongmeng spiritual treasure. You have quite a few Hongmeng spiritual treasure in your hands, and each Tao body can have 1, but how can you have too many of these things? The envoy's face froze, and he bargained with you for a while, finally settling on 6 Hongmeng spiritual treasure. After the envoy returned, he quickly brought the Hongmeng spiritual treasure. However, you did not release the people immediately. You said that the other party gave too little, so you would release them later. The envoy suppressed his anger and asked how much later. You said 100 years later. If the other party wanted to redeem the people earlier, they could add 2 more Hongmeng spiritual treasure. In the end, the envoy did not agree, but asked you to continue to imprison them for 100 years. 100 years of time and 2 Hongmeng spiritual treasure, only a fool would not know how to choose. Let the Ancient One of the White Fox clan suffer a little more, anyway, 100 years will pass quickly. At that time, they will be able to come out. 756. Stop expansion. Physical catastrophe, destroying the calamity. The conditions for advancing to the Hongmeng treasure. Open black lens bracket. However, the envoy also reminded you not to continue expanding your territory before leaving. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket because the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty has already set their sights on you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. If your ambition is too great, it will easily attract the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty to act against you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket because if you expand further, your western border will meet the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty is controlled by 8 great alien races. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. These 8 great alien races are also known as the 8 great royal clans. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Behind each royal clan is the most ancient one. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Their overall strength is imaginable. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As you are now, you are completely no match for them. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You smiled and said you understood, but as soon as the envoy left, your expression turned gloomy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Stop expanding. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You want to seek welfare for the human race. How can you stop? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Even if you wanted to listen, the common people behind you would not agree. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. How many more human race compatriots are suffering inhumane bullying in the territory of alien races? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Some are even kept as slaves and livestock for food. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You are of great virtue and great kindness, and you must rescue them from their plight. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After first digesting Chengtai Holy State and Yanhang Saint Province, you will definitely continue expanding afterwards. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, there is still an important matter now. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. That is what your next tribulation will be. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The next tribulation is the first of the 3 tribulations, called physical body tribulation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In this tribulation, the cultivator's physical body will experience various problems. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The simpler ones are chaotic blood and chi, and ruptured meridians. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The more difficult ones are the backlash of the bloodline origin, and the aging and disintegration of the physical body. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You don't know what you will encounter. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You took out the Tai Divine Dipper, injected a massive amount of Saint crystals, and the Tai Divine Dipper quickly showed that you would encounter destructive tribulation chi. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Destructive tribulation chi is a world-destroying thing that is born at the end of the great tribulation of destruction. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Many ordinary other shores died in the destructive tribulation chi, unable to survive until the next era. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Only ancient ones can barely resist it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. For you now, passing through it seems not difficult. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But is it really that simple? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Tai Divine Dipper continued to show. The destructive tribulation chi in your body will constantly accumulate, and with your current strength, you will die after 100 years. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your expression froze. It was indeed not that easy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then, you injected a large amount of primordial chi to find a solution. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You continuously injected it for half an hour before the Tai Divine Dipper continued to show. Only by mastering the Tao of the 5 great innates can you form a self-contained cycle and not fear any destructive tribulation chi. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You have only mastered primal beginning and primal commencement among the 5 great innates. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It has already cost you considerable effort. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Collecting the other 3 is a significant challenge for you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Especially within 100 years. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It's better to inquire first before doing anything else. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You sent out all 9 Tao bodies. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With the strength of your Tao bodies, it only took a month to find the whereabouts of the Tezu Divine Tablet and the Taiji Divine Tablet. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 2 Tezu Divine Tablets are in the hands of the 2 great royal clans of the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty respectively. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket of the 2 Taiji divine tablets, one is missing, and one is in the treasure vault of the imperial clan of the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As for the Tai divine tablet, it is said to have been destroyed in the last great tribulation and is probably impossible to find. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Regardless of which divine tablet it is, you cannot get your hands on it for the time being. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Currently, it is better to accumulate strength first before making plans. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Time flies, and 5 years pass in the blink of an eye. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Chengtai Holy State has taken on a new look under the reform. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The human race in Yanheng Saint Province has also been properly handled. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your power of the myriad people has greatly increased, and your strength has doubled. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this time, your strength base point is already very high. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Being able to double it is entirely because the human race in the 2 great saint states combined is even more numerous than the human race under your rule before, allowing for such an effect. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As for the alien races in the 2 great saint states, they have also been basically completely sacrificed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Especially Yanheng Saint Province, which was originally dominated by the Demon Clan, has provided you with a massive amount of sacrifices. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In these 5 years, the Human Emperor Palace has once again refined 7 alien race other shores. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Its power has increased significantly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your infinite enlightenment has reached the limit of 10,000 times. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Each of your Tao bodies is equal in strength to your main body. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This has also indirectly increased your strength. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And your Tai Shi Dao, which you comprehended during the last life and death tribulation, has advanced by leaps and bounds, pulling ahead of the Tao of primordial beginning. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In these 5 years, what you have mainly comprehended is also the Tai Shi Dao. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. There's no other way. Who made the Tai Shi Dao so useful? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Tao of primordial beginning is currently mainly used to cultivate primordial qi, balance your cultivation, and increase the power of your techniques. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And the Tai Shi Dao can greatly expand military supplies. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Divine pills, miraculous medicines, materials, and magic treasures are constantly emerging in your hands, being born continuously. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This allows the strength of your army to grow rapidly, turning into an invincible sharp blade. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Moreover, as your research into the Tai Shi Dao deepens, some resources have already flowed into the civilian population to enhance the strength of ordinary cultivators. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And the stronger the human race cultivators are, the deeper your power of the myriad people will be, which can also enhance your strength. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In terms of practicality, you will definitely prioritize strengthening the Tai Shi Dao. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Human Emperor Palace is constantly refining alien race other shores, having refined nearly 20 of them. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You ask the 5-clawed golden dragon if it can advance to a primordial treasure like this. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Primordial treasures are extremely precious, with only a few being born in a great tribulation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They are usually in the hands of perfect other shores. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In these 5 years, a small amount of destructive tribulation chi has already appeared in your body, causing you some impact. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. If the Human Emperor Palace can advance to a primordial treasure, perhaps you can directly use it to expel the destructive tribulation chi from your body and help you pass the physical body tribulation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Unexpectedly, the 5-clawed golden dragon said it was possible, but at least 400 to 500 ordinary alien race other shores would need to be refined. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, you exclaimed, saying that this would mean refining 1/3 of the alien race other shores in the transcendent saint realm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, this would require you to have the strength of a perfect other shore at least to accomplish. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, otherwise, if the alien races unite, you will definitely have no chance of survival. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, you ask, what if it were an ancient one? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, the 5-clawed golden dragon said that if it were an ancient one, only 50 or 60 would be needed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, this number is also not small. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, you currently only have one alien race ancient one from the White Fox clan in your possession. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, you still have to send him back after 100 years. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, you just hope he doesn't die prematurely within 100 years, otherwise you will have to refine him. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, the benefits of conquering Chengtai Holy State and Yanheng Saint Province have been mostly digested by you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, next, it's time to consider the issue of expansion again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, currently, you govern 6 great saint states. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, larger saint states like Chengtai Holy State and Yanheng Saint Province are each worth 2 Tianxi Holy States. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, within their borders, land has been redistributed, and they are all human race, with stable public support. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, in terms of the army, they are also strong and eager for military achievements. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, these are all the results of your efforts. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, if you don't expand your territory, wouldn't all your efforts be in vain? Close black lens bracket. 757. Kangming and Junyu, conquering the 4 directions. Royal Kunpeng, the master of the Book of Destiny. As for where to expand, I need to think about it carefully. Currently, the West is separated from the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty by 2 saint states. Further north is the Suppressing Mountain Divine Court, primarily led by the spirit of Suppressing Mountain. There are several ancient ones stationed within, making them difficult to provoke. There are also ancient one forces in the south. Its name is the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, and it is 5 saint states away from you. The 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty and the Spirit of Suppressing Mountain are foreign race forces, while the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty is mainly composed of the human race. Comparatively speaking, the human race is definitely more friendly. You have decided to expand southward. There aren't many saint states separating you from the 3 major forces, but there are over a dozen saint states in the intermediate zone. If you can incorporate all these saint states into the territory of the Celestial Tin Holy Court, perhaps you can possess strength comparable to an ancient one. With your command, the battle-ready army immediately split into 3 routes, simultaneously attacking 3 saint states in the south. And it only took a short 40 to 50 days to conquer them all. The advance could only be described as overwhelming, leaving many forces deeply shocked. You didn't expect the army's combat power to be so strong. Since that's the case, you'll play a bigger game. Before the various forces could react, you once again dispatched 6 large armies to attack the 6 neighboring saint states. Everyone thought you were insane. The 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty and the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty immediately sent envoys to warn you, hoping you would stop quickly. Because many of these saint states are related to the 2 major forces, or are subordinate forces of the 2 major forces, which is why they haven't been annexed. If you don't stop, be careful of regretting it too late. You turned a deaf ear. Both major forces hold things that you need. Therefore, you will face off against them sooner or later. Moreover, your physical body tribulation only gives you 100 years, and now there are 95 years left. If you don't seize the opportunity to strengthen your power, you will also face death. On the surface, you still stabilize the 2 dynasties, showing a willingness to negotiate. After a month of negotiations like this, you once again conquered the 6 major saint states. Both sides were furious, threatening to leave you without a burial place. Both sides each sent 4 ancient ones to the headquarters of the Celestial Tin Holy Court, intending to carry out a decapitation operation. However, you only dispatched 5 Dao bodies and repelled and defeated the 8 ancient ones. When the 2 major forces were preparing for their next move, you proactively approached the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, expressing your willingness to submit. The Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty certainly didn't believe you. After all, they had just suffered a loss at your hands not long ago. You said that you had extensively sacrificed foreign races, and the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty would surely not tolerate you. Besides seeking refuge with the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, which is also of the human race, what other options do you have? The Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty thought you made sense, but still didn't believe you. There was no other way, you had to use a big move. You said you would give them 10 years. Within 10 years, you would consolidate the internal opposing forces and then directly announce you're joining the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty. To show your sincerity, you decided to conquer the Verdant Sun Saint Province, which is adjacent to the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, and give it to the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty. This Verdant Sun Saint Province is very special. It was originally the territory of the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, but later split off in a rebellion and became independent. The Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty had always wanted to recover it, but was severely obstructed by the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty. The Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty even declared that if anything happened to the Verdant Sun Saint Province, it would mean something happened to the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty. The human race in the Verdant Sun Saint Province also regarded the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty as their suzerain state. It was already common for foreign races to run rampant within its borders, considering themselves superior. So over the years, this place had become a heartache for the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty. But the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty had always lacked the determination to go to war with the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty. Because in terms of top-tier combat power, the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty was still superior. The Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty had no certainty of victory and did not want to completely fall out with the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty. But now that you were willing to act, things were naturally different. You already had a grievance with the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty and were aggressive. Attacking the Verdant Sun Saint Province required no excuse. And once you attacked the Verdant Sun Saint Province, you would forge a deadly feud with the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty, and at that time, you would have no choice but to seek refuge with the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty. Hearing this idea of yours, the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty quickly agreed. With the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty as a backer, your actions became even more decisive, and you continued to aggressively seize territory. The Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty, therefore, issued you a final ultimatum. But you still ignored it. Half a month later, an Ancient One from the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty made a move. This person is the ancestor sacrificing to the Tao of the Kunpeng clan, one of the 8 great royal clans of the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty. The Winged God Emperor clan that you previously annihilated was one of the descendant branches of the Kunpeng clan. You already had a feud, so this time he personally took action against you. You were completely unable to contend with the strength of an Ancient One. With a single move, he suppressed you and all your Tao bodies. It is estimated that only by using the Human Emperor Palace could you barely offer resistance, but at most it would be resisting a few moves, and you would still be no match for the Kunpeng ancestor. But, you still have the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty. Not long after the Kunpeng ancestor made his move, the people of the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty also acted. The one who acted was the Imperial Advisor of the Ancient Dynasty, the Celestial Destiny Book Venerable. This one is not a weakling among the Ancient Ones. You thought the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty would send other Ancient Ones, but you didn't expect him to make a move. The Kunpeng ancestor angrily said, "Good, good, I didn't expect you to have colluded long ago." After exchanging a few blows with the Celestial Destiny Book Venerable, he directly retreated. You, on the other hand, went forward and said, "It is indeed a great honor for a junior to have a senior grace us with their presence." The Celestial Destiny Book Venerable said meaningfully, "There are not many human race seeds like you left." After speaking, he left. This sentence is a bit strange. Did he develop a love for talent, or what does it mean? You always felt that there was a hidden meaning in his words. After this great battle, you continued to seize territory everywhere. The Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty uncharacteristically did not make another move. This wasn't because the other party was being benevolent or feared the Celestial Destiny Book Venerable. Instead, the northwestern part of the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty encountered trouble. Large numbers of the Demon Clan left their underground lairs and attacked the surface. The Demon Clan was the final victor in the Divine Demon battle during the last great calamity of destruction. Although they annihilated the divine race, they also suffered heavy losses and were jointly driven underground by other races. After such a long period of recuperation, the strength of the underground demon clan is already quite terrifying. Every so often, they would come to the surface to plunder, causing a lot of headaches. However, luckily, they don't seem to have the idea of establishing strongholds on the surface, otherwise it would be even more troublesome. Compared to the threat of the demon clan, your situation can only be put aside for the time being. Without the checks and balances of the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty and the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, the army of the Celestial Tin Holy Court was simply unstoppable. 758. 21 Holy States, attack Qingyang. Save the land but not the people, Black and White Rebel. Open black lens bracket. Almost everyone who could be used from the 6 native provinces of the Celestial Tin Holy Court was dispatched by you to the battlefield, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The legions expanded from 6 to 15, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The army size also reached 30 billion, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In just 2 years, you took down all the other dozen Saint states except for Verdant Sun Saint Province, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Adding the 6 native provinces, the Saint states you currently govern have reached 21, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With the expansion of your territory, your power of the masses also grew rapidly, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In just 2 short years, your strength increased by another 5 or 6 times, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The stronger you are, the more annihilation tribulation energy you suppress, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The latest notification from the Tai Divine Dipper indicates that the decay time of your physical body has been extended to 300 years, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With the large number of sacrifices from foreign races, the human Emperor Palace refined 23 other shores of foreign races in these 2 years, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Almost one could be refined every month, the efficiency is quite astonishing, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. If the Kunpeng ancestor comes again, it won't be so easy to suppress you, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Within 2 years, the Kangming Emperor of the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty sent envoys multiple times, urging you to quickly attack Verdant Sun Saint Province, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The territories that could be expanded have basically been captured, now it's time to take down Verdant Sun Saint Province and stabilize the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, because Verdant Sun Saint Province is a place that the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty declared they would protect, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your methods were not as fierce as when you attacked other Saint states, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Instead, you first sent 10 million ordinary troops as vanguards to see the reaction of the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The reputation of the Celestial Tin Holy Court in this area is enough to stop children from crying at night, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Facing such a monster, Verdant Sun Saint Province immediately sought help from the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. For the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, it is still very valuable, equivalent to planting a nail next to the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Hearing that you were attacking it, the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, even though busy dealing with the demonic disaster, still sent several ancient ones to help, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Seeing that the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty attached such importance to Verdant Sun Saint Province, your offensive naturally became slower, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Anyway, you had to give it to the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty after taking it down, so you were naturally not in a hurry, just putting on a show for now, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were not in a hurry, but the Kangming Emperor was a bit anxious and kept sending people to urge you, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You said it was difficult. Verdant Sun Saint Province had the assistance of experts from the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, and it would be difficult to take it down in a short time unless you personally took action, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Kangming Emperor said, then why don't you take action yourself? Anyway, with the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty backing you, what are you afraid of, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You said that taking action personally carried the risk of attracting the most ancient one, but if the Kangming Emperor was willing to lend you the Taiji Divine Tablet from his treasury for 100 years, you wouldn't be unwilling to take this risk, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Good heavens, are you revealing your true intentions now? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Kangming Emperor was so angry his teeth itched. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It was you who said initially that you would take down Verdant Sun Saint Province and give it to him, and for this, you had already let the Celestial Destiny Book Venerable help you once. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Now you are asking for extra benefits. Are you really treating him as a big spender? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, after much deliberation, the Kangming Emperor finally agreed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After all, he doesn't want to directly confront the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty now, and you, this agent, are still very valuable. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, to avoid the Taiji Divine Tablet being taken away, he only allowed you to comprehend it in the Imperial Palace secret realm and not take the Taiji Divine Tablet with you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You agreed and sent a Dao body to the Imperial Palace secret realm specifically to comprehend the Taiji Divine Tablet. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This Divine Tablet is the upper part, recording the cultivation method of the Taiji Dao. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Taiji Dao harmonizes yin and yang and integrates all laws. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It is of great benefit to the life and death realm you created. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As soon as your Dao body came into contact, it immediately became immersed in it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. On the other side, you also fulfilled your promise and launched a fierce offensive against Verdant Sun Saint Province. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In just 3 months, you drove away the several ancient ones sent by the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty and completely controlled Verdant Sun Saint Province. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. When you were about to give Verdant Sun Saint Province to the Kangming Emperor, he hinted that you should clean up Verdant Sun Saint Province before giving it. It wouldn't be too late. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Verdant Sun Saint Province has been influenced by the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty for tens of billions of years. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The number of traitors inside is countless. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Governing it is not that easy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At least for the Kangming Emperor, it's not easy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Because the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty is influenced by the Celestial Destiny Book Venerable, this imperial advisor, the civil official force is extremely strong, and they criticize him, the Emperor, at every turn. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. According to the nature of that group of civil officials, if he wants to clean up this group of traitors, he can only use a policy of appeasement and use time to influence them. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Kangming Emperor decided to let you use a swift and decisive approach. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At least within the Celestial Tin Holy Court, you are the one in charge, and no one dares to oppose you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Dealing with this group of traitors is relatively simple for you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You agreed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Population is a precious resource. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You transported all the people of Verdant Sun Saint Province back to the territory of the Celestial Tin Holy Court. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Those who directly submitted and could provide you with power of the masses were granted formal status. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Conversely, those who still long for the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, their former master, were not even kept as laborers but were publicly executed directly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Being of the human race, but having their hearts set on foreign races. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Betraying even their own race, their death is not a pity. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Afterwards, you gave the clean, Verdant Sun Saint Province to the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It's just that the Kangming Emperor's face was a bit dark. He asked you to deal with the traitors, not to take everyone away. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Now it has truly become leaving the land but not the people. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then the Kangming Emperor asked you again when you would submit to the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You said, wasn't there a 10-year agreement? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Only a little over 2 years have passed, no need to rush. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As soon as the time comes, you will immediately submit. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Everyone is of the human race, and sooner or later we will be one family. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Kangming Emperor nodded. The ancient dynasty had several of the most ancient ones, whose strength was enough to crush the celestial Tin Holy Court, so he was not afraid of you going back on your word. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Azure Abyss ancient dynasty side was temporarily dealt with, but the trouble with the Eight Desolations divine dynasty was just beginning. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This time, the celestial Tin Holy Court attacking Verdant Sun Saint province severely disgraced the Eight Desolations divine dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Several royal families of the Eight Desolations divine dynasty immediately ordered people to capture many demonic creatures and release them within the territory of the celestial Tin Holy Court, causing you some trouble. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Afterwards, the Fox clan of the Eight Desolations divine dynasty sent an ancient one to the Black-White Academy, and it is unknown what he said to the several other shores of the Black-White Academy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Not long after the Fox clan ancient one left, the Black-White Palace Master actually announced the abolition of your position as young Palace Lord and expelled you from the Black-White Academy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With your current power and status, the identity of the Black-White Academy young Palace Lord was already dispensable to you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. On the contrary, for the Black-White Academy, it was a great honor. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Because of your relationship, the Black-White Academy also gained a lot of attention within the territory of the Celestial Tin Holy Court. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Unexpectedly, such a turn of events happened, surprising many people. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And when you heard the news, not only did you not become angry and humiliated, but you were overjoyed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This is something you have been wishing for. Close black lens bracket. 759. 8 Ancient Masters, the Supreme Killing Array. Yin-Yang Death Reversing Technique, clearing up the Black and White Academy. Open black lens bracket. You had long wanted to leave the Black-White Academy. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Because it was a power dominated by foreign races. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But it did provide you with considerable help in the early days, and you didn't want to bear the reputation of being ungrateful, which is why you tacitly accepted this identity. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Moreover, over the years, the Black-White Academy had been using your name as the young Palace Lord to intimidate others, taking in many foreign races, which had long displeased you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You had just begun to comprehend the Taiji Divine Tablet and then received such news. It was simply a double blessing. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You immediately went to the Black-White Academy, wanting to question the Black-White Palace Master if he was tired of living. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As a result, when you arrived, you discovered that the Black-White Palace Master had already fled. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The same was true for the other few from the other shore. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Black-White Academy only had a group of disciples left, not a single one from the other shore remained. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Especially since the Saint Yang Emperor had also fled, it made your heart grow cold. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He was your master, would you harm him if he stayed? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were just about to use tracking methods to investigate the whereabouts of several people. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Below the Black-White Academy, however, a massive formation diagram emerged, enveloping you within it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Seeing you trapped, the figures of 8 ancient ones appeared. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You knew all these ancient ones, and some of them you had even interacted with. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They were all powerful foreign race experts from the 8 Desolations divine dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The leader was precisely that Fox clan ancient one, named Old Monster Heavenly Fox, who laughed heartily, This 8 gates golden lock formation was specifically set up for you, now let's see how you escape. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The 8 gates golden lock formation is a famous enemy trapping formation of the 8 desolations divine dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 8 invincible sacrificial Taoists once used it to trap and kill a newly advanced other shore. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Now that 8 ancient ones are making a move, you are certainly doomed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You naturally knew the reputation of the 8 gates golden lock formation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You coldly snorted. Aren't you afraid of the celestial destiny book, Venerable? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Old monster heavenly fox said with a strange expression, you still don't know, do you? The Azure Abyss ancient dynasty has already reached an agreement with my 8 desolations divine dynasty. As long as it's not the most ancient one making a move against you, they will not interfere. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Otherwise, why would we set up this 8 gates golden lock formation? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your expression changed slightly, you didn't expect to be blindsided by the Azure Abyss ancient dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Even if they reached this agreement, they should have informed you instead of leaving you completely unprepared. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It seems now, you can only break the situation on your own. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. All your 9 great avatars were summoned by you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Old monster heavenly fox still laughed heartily. Unless you have strength comparable to the most ancient one, what use is having more avatars? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You are indeed far from the most ancient one now, but, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Behind each of your 9 great avatars, a yin and yang taiji diagram appeared, and they strangely rotated in reverse. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Taiji coordinates yin and yang, and gives birth to all things. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But, once yin and yang are reversed, the balance of heaven and earth is broken, and an unimaginable power will erupt. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You comprehended the Taiji Divine Tablet and have already devised a related secret technique to temporarily enhance your strength. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Because this secret technique reverses yin and yang, living by facing death, the cost is immense. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Therefore, you call it the yin-yang reverse death art. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your 9 great avatars simultaneously let out a low roar. When yin and yang are in chaos, I shall dye the azure sky with demonic blood. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Of course, this demonic blood refers to the blood of the avatars. Your main body is definitely holy blood. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After speaking, the yin and yang taiji diagram reversed rapidly, and terrifying power erupted from the 9 great avatars. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then, the 9 merged into one, forming a terrifying figure. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The aura of the most ancient one permeated outwards. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In the horrified gaze of old monster heavenly fox, it only took a short half breath to break the 8 gates golden lock formation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. No. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The terrifying figure reached out and grabbed towards old monster heavenly fox and the others. The 8 foreign race ancient ones had no power to resist and were instantly suppressed into the human emperor palace. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This yin-yang reverse death art can last for 1 breath, and there is still a little time left. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You decided to use it to track the black-white palace master and the others. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You wanted to see where they were fleeing to. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In just an instant, the terrifying figure sensed that they were in the distant territory of the 8 desolations divine dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It seems they were receiving protection from the 8 desolations divine dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The 8 desolations divine dynasty had even used the 8 gates golden lock formation, making it a fight to the death with you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You certainly wouldn't run into the 8 desolations divine dynasty's territory to court death. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then, let's reverse time and space, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The terrifying figure used its last bit of power to stir the timeline, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Everything in the Black-White Academy began to flow backward, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Black-White Palace Master and the others, who were receiving a grand reception in the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, were astonished to find that the surrounding time and space were changing, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Their figures were retreating uncontrollably, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This is time and space reversal, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In the Transcendent Saint realm, only the most ancient one can use it, and it comes at a certain cost, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They racked their brains but couldn't figure out who would use time and space reversal on them, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. When it stopped, they found themselves back in the Black-White Academy, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were looking at them with a smiling face, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It's actually you, Lu Changsheng. Have you become the most ancient one, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Black-White Palace Master was incredibly shocked, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This isn't right, your strength improvement is more exaggerated than space jumps, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But you didn't waste words on him, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Although the chaotic divine being formed by your Tao body had disappeared, with the strength of your main body, it was enough to render several people completely powerless to resist, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You directly performed a soul search on the Black-White Palace Master to see why he betrayed you, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After the soul search, you discovered that it was because the Black-White Palace Master was very guilty about colluding with the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign in the past and was afraid that you would settle accounts with him sooner or later, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Therefore, when the people from the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty contacted him and asked him to set a trap for you, he agreed immediately, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He also used threats and inducements to make several other colleagues defect to the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty with him, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This is what led to what happened later, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You sighed, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You originally had a bit of sentiment and didn't make a move against him, but you didn't expect, it seems you were still too kind, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With a wave of your hand, you sent the Black-White Palace Master and the Nether King of Eternal Night into the Human Emperor Palace, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Many treasures Taoist and the Kalpa-Light Tao ancestor were instantly killed by a single palm strike from you, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Although both were from the human race, and the Kalpa-Light Tao ancestor even had some friendship with you, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But since they dared to betray you, they could only die, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Only the Saint Yang Emperor remained on the field, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Facing you, he appeared slightly awkward, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, his heart was filled with joy, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You had left him behind alone, it seemed you were planning to spare his life, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You were indeed someone who remembered old sentiments, still remembering him as your master, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Saint Yang Emperor decided to further improve their relationship, he said shamefully, disciple, master, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But you raised your hand, stopping him from continuing, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You said, you don't need to say it, I understand everything. The Black-White Palace Master was the culprit behind everything. After all, we were master and disciple. I will send you to a good place, close black lens bracket. 760. The teacher is kind and the disciple is filial, the old nest of the corpse. Tai Chi, the second part, have more children. Open black lens bracket. The Saint Yang Emperor secretly rejoiced, it seemed he had escaped a calamity, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But on the surface, he still said shamefully, how could I possibly accept this, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Between you and me, why be so polite, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You chuckled and directly sent the Saint Young Emperor to an unfamiliar place. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Saint Young Emperor saw that the area was completely red, with dozens of shriveled corpses of other Shoryizu alien races, as if their bodies had been drained. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In addition, there were dozens more, sealed by chains extending from the void. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. What the hell is this place? It doesn't look like a good place. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Saint Young Emperor trembled with fear. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this moment, a massive golden dragon head extended down from above the bloody space. It stared at the Saint Young Emperor with eyes like copper bells, clicking its tongue in wonder. That kid actually sent even his master in. He really has a deep demonic nature. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Otherwise, he seemed to realize something and quickly covered his dragon mouth with a claw. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Oh no, I let it slip. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then, its eyes flashed fiercely, staring intently at the Saint Young Emperor. Since you heard it, you'll be the first one I refine. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A dragon tail lashed out from the void, whipping the Saint Young Emperor back into his three-legged golden crow original form. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then, chains extended one after another, firmly trapping him and beginning to extract the power within his body. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Moreover, he discovered in horror that this loss of power was permanent. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In other words, his realm would drop, and he might even die permanently. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Saint Young Emperor was truly terrified now. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. No wonder Lu Chengsheng's strength increased so quickly, he was actually using such demonic methods. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Unfortunately, with his strength, he couldn't escape at all, let alone expose your crimes. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Even if exposed, it would be difficult to pose a fatal threat to you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Because the battle at Black-White Academy had already stirred up huge waves in the Transcendent Saint realm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your trump cards shocked the world. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Especially the Eight Desolations Divine Dynasty and the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, they needed to re-examine their relationship with you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After all, having an Ancient One as a backer and having the strength of an Ancient One are two completely different concepts. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Although this was a temporary trump card. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But it was enough for people to see your potential. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Given time, you would definitely become an Ancient One, or even reach the perfect other shore. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, you had no time to pay attention to the outside world's opinions. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. From the Black-White Palace Master's memory, you learned everything about the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Things like cultivating evil arts, and several disciples righteously eliminating their relative, were all fake. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It was that old man himself who had a cultivation mishap. His physical body was destroyed, leaving only his divine soul, so he had no choice but to hide. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But his reputation was too notorious. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Black-White Palace Master and others wanted to distance themselves from him, but also wanted to inherit everything from him legitimately, which is why they fabricated such a story. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, privately, the two sides still had contact and cooperation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign had always wanted to find a perfect physical body for himself, and the Black-White Academy had put in considerable effort over the years. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Until the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign set his sights on you, and was then destroyed by the Supreme Taoist Lord you summoned using the Divine Descent art. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Only then did his feigned death turn into true death. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Although the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign was dead, the Black-White Palace Master knew his hidden location. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After all, they still needed to transport physical bodies to him. How could they not know the location? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After destroying several other shores from the Black-White Academy, you immediately headed to the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign's old lair. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign's old lair was in a deep abyss in the Corpse Demon realm, which he had fortified into an impenetrable fortress. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Even ordinary ancient ones would have a hard time breaking in. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But for you, it was easy to break through all the restrictions and traps, and you quickly plundered his old lair clean. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You originally thought it would be some ordinary treasures, but unexpectedly, among the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign's belongings, you discovered a huge pleasant surprise. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. That was the second Taiji Divine Tablet. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It was disguised very well, and if you hadn't achieved some success in the path of Taiji, it would have been truly difficult to recognize. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. No wonder the Black-White Academy had so many exquisite applications of the path of yin and yang. The source was here. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Of course, compared to the content on the stone tablet, what was in the Black-White Academy was just the surface. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Also, could the collapse of the Yin-Yang Corpse Sovereign's physical body also be due to this Taiji Divine Tablet? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After all, if you only have the methods for applying the path of Taiji without corresponding cultivation methods, isn't it easy to suffer chi deviation? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Don't look at the path of Taiji being the most gentle among the 5 great innates, but when things reach an extreme, they reverse, and its hidden destructive power is quite astonishing. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Otherwise, where would your yin-yang reverse death art come from? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Obtaining this second Taiji Divine Tablet made you happier than obtaining 100 Hongmeng spiritual treasures. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Because for Hongmeng spiritual treasures, you and your Tao body already had 3 or 4 each. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Adding 100 more would only increase the quantity, making it difficult to achieve a qualitative change. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But this second Taiji Divine Tablet was different. It mainly discussed the application of the path of Taiji. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You could use it to perfect the yin-yang reverse death art, allowing it to unleash greater power and last longer. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After you returned, your main body began to cultivate in seclusion. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As for the Celestial Tin Holy Court, it was handed over to your Tao body to manage. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The Celestial Tin Holy Court now encompasses 21 saint states. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Its territory is vast, ranking 5th among the various forces in the Transcendent Saint realm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Only below the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, the Suppressing Mountain Divine Court, and the Burial Flower Spiritual Realm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Among them, the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty, and the Suppressing Mountain Divine Court are located to the west, south, and north of the Celestial Tin Holy Court, respectively. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. They have almost locked the Celestial Tin Holy Court into this territory. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. To expand further, you can only snatch food from the mouths of these 3 major forces. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Currently, you clearly do not have such capability. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And the Burial Flower Spiritual Realm, rank 3rd, is located southwest of the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty and south of the 8 Desolations Divine Dynasty, so it will not come into conflict with you for the time being. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your main body is in seclusion. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. There is also a Tao body cultivating the Taiji Divine Tablet in the Azure Abyss Ancient Dynasty. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. How to strengthen the power of the human race within the territory of the Celestial Tin Holy Court. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket became the primary task of the other 8 Tao bodies. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After some discussion. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The 8 Tao bodies decided to start from 2 aspects. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 1 is to vigorously boost the population. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. More than half of the 21 saint states ruled by the celestial Tin Holy Court were seized from alien races. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As for the alien races, except for some who were deliberately left behind to be raised as slaves and materials, the others were basically sacrificed clean by you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. So these areas can accommodate a large population. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The second is to enhance the strength of the existing human race. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Increasing the overall strength of the human race can provide more power of the myriad people and also provide high-quality soldiers, preparing for future major wars. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As for how to implement this, the 8 Tao bodies each took on different roles to effectively carry out these 2 points. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Due to your years of focusing on the people's difficulties and solving their problems. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You have extremely high prestige among the people. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Now, when your Tao body issued a call for everyone to have more children. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Responders gathered like clouds. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A vigorous baby-making campaign soon unfolded in the celestial Tin Holy Court. Close black lens bracket.